Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It is Wednesday. And why is that significant? Well, we are 1 week away from playing Paris Saint-Germain, and we have no good left-sided forwards. We have two very average strikers. We have no number 10, and we have lost 67 GA from last season. But don't worry, people are telling me, don't panic. Don't panic. I don't know if it's so much about the word is panicking, but at the moment, how else can we feel but deflated? I've put a poll in the chat to find out, and there are people who aren't. Fair enough. There are people that aren't. The poll in the chat says, just how deflated are you with this window? And the options are very, I'm not, a little bit, or Levy has made me numb to this. And I think this is a real indictment of where the fans are at the moment. And again, look, I changed the title of the show this morning to Embarrassing Spurs Doing All as United Build a 200 million forward line. Now, I'll be honest, I was told by everyone in my chat, all the YouTubers I work with, they told me, but United can't buy. They've got no money. United have got no money. United have to sell to buy because of their mistakes. Garnacho, Anthony, Xerxes, Højlund, Rashford, Sancho. I was told they had to get rid of all of them to buy. I was told that we can't buy until we sell Basuma. And there's Man United spending 200 plus million on a brand new forward line. I'm going to say it right now. People can clip this. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Now, it's not necessarily jealous that it's those exact three footballers, but look at the ambition. Look at the fact that Man United are sitting there saying, we've made mistakes. We've had risks that haven't worked out. But you know what? We're going to go again. When we make a risk, when we have a player that doesn't work out, we hold on to them for 10 years, maybe 5. You know what I mean? But yet still I'm seeing people, I don't know about their front. Look at their front three compared to ours. And this is a team that finished 15th with no European football. And Tottenham are sitting there with Champions League football, and we've made one first team signing through a transfer fee and one transfer signing through a loan. And you look at this and go, what? We have no ambition. We have no ambition. By the way, Kate, good morning to you. If you want to come on, let me know. Good morning, Kate. If you want to come on, WhatsApp me. You've got my number. WhatsApp me if you want to come on. I'm just at this stage where I'm seeing Aston Villa have just signed Evan Gussan. Again, a better striker than what Tottenham have. It might not be instantly in season 1. He's outscoring everyone, but this is a very good player. And I can't say, yes, 7 days until a Super Cup final. Sign some footballers. What are we? Surely the excuses are running out now. Surely these excuses of, there's still 20, what is it, 20? I do this every day and forget. How many days until the 1st of September? 26 days. 26 days. But in 7 days, we have our first proper game in the European Super Cup. In 10 days, we have our first Premier League game. And we're going into it with zero firepower. We have got zero firepower in this team. Listen, I'm not angry. I'm not moaning. I'm not negative. I just don't know. I don't know what we're trying to achieve at this football club. We've got a really good coach. And this, big up to Andy Carmichael. By the way, big up to every single one of you. Let's not do. Yesterday was an awful day for likes. Let's get those straight in. Let's get to 200 immediately. We're at 100. Let's get to 200 immediately. By the way, we're seeing that George Abbott is going to Wycombe Wanderers on loan this season in League One. George Abbott is going to Wycombe Wanderers. Jamie Donnelly, we know, has officially signed for Stoke on loan. Whilst Tottenham are doing nothing for incomings. Paulinho on loan is a wonderful, wonderful signing. I'm not doubting that, people. I'm not doubting that at all. But where are these signings into the club? Where are the permanent signings? And you know, I know, I think everyone knows it's going to be someone like El Kanous, And the same YouTubers and podcasters will then start making their videos as to why this guy is perfect for Spurs, solves our problems. Come on. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're in the Champions League. Come on. Where is it? Where's that one transfer window where you go, right, we're going for it? Where's that ambition? Where's the stretching of yourselves? And this is where I do agree with my man Lubo. I don't agree with him on everything, but this is where I do agree with Lubo. Where are we stretching ourselves? Where are we saying we're in the Champions League? We've had a lucky escape last year, very lucky escape. Get out of jail free card. Let's not get there again. Let's learn from that. Let's go and give the fans what they deserve. Let's give them what they deserve. Let's go and do what Chelsea do for 1 year. Let's go and do what Man United do for 1 year. If it doesn't work, we can't complain. For example, if Spurs went and spent 200 million on Cunha and Buemo and Sesko and it didn't work, I can't at the end of that year go, oh, terrible, Levy. Because you turn around and go, no, you've backed the manager. You've given the manager top quality footballers. And I just can't understand how this isn't obvious to everyone. You've got Spurs fans who wouldn't want Harvey Elliott, why RB Leipzig have inquired about him. Like, what are we doing? You've got the board who don't seem to want to buy anybody. Chris, I was being really kind, wasn't I? We've got two very average strikers, and yet our fans will tell you, oh, I like Solanke. I think Solanke does it. Oh, I like Richie. Richie does this. Alistair Gold. I really like Alistair Gold, by the way, as a reporter. Yesterday, he put a video. There's a video of him saying, with Richarlison, get him fit. Got a really good striker there. I mean, how many years do we need to do this game? How many years do we need to do this game? How many years until all the fans go, these aren't good enough. These players aren't good enough. We've got fans mocking the signing of Sesko, whilst we've got Tell and Odegaard and Solanke and Richie and Solomon and Hill. I mean, what are we doing? Lookman, again, another one. Go and test the waters. Go and test the waters with him. Why is that unachievable? Atalanta are a good club. They're not a massive club. And if they're not going to let him go to Inter, go and get him. So in our transfer window, someone's just sent me this. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to show this, by the way. I'm not going to show who it's from. I'm going to show this. This is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant post. 1 second. Let me show this. Just the main body of the picture. I'm just cropping. Look at that. So Spurs transfer window is Takai, Kudus and Paulinho. Man United's Cunha and Buemo Sesko. We've spent 60. They've spent 200. Now, what people will do is they'll start adding the money on for Danso and Tell, which was already prioritised in January. But this is madness. We won the Europa League. We're in the Champions League. Shane, it's not about having the same pull as Man United. No one's saying we have to get the same players as them. Having the same pull as Man United doesn't mean we can't be going out and getting players we need. What, you're telling me we couldn't sign a Harvey Elliott, a Johan Wissa? You're telling me we couldn't get a Jack Grealish on loan? You're telling me we couldn't have got Evan Gussan? You're telling me we couldn't go and buy Calamundo? I mean, we can make whatever excuses we want. I don't think we can compete with Man United. I've said that all along. I'm not asking us to compete with Man United. I'm asking us to act like Man United. I'm asking us to take some risks. I'm asking us to say, come on, let's be a proper football club. I'm asking us to say, we've got in through the back door. We've got in through the back door into the Champions League after what was an awful season at the football club, the worst I've ever seen. Like Price says, we're going in to face the champions of Europe. And no matter what anyone says, we're not the champions of Europe. PSG are. We won the Europa League. People seem to keep getting this wrong. But we're going in to face the champions of Europe with no number 10. It's going to be Richie up front, and Solanke's played no football. And it's going to be Taylor Odeber on the left wing. I mean, is this really what our season, is this really what all summer is about? Are we really saying that all summer we've geared up to having this 11? No. Where's the space in the Man United squad? Where's the space in the Chelsea squad? Sorry, no. No. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. I was told that Man United couldn't buy because they had Garnacho, Xerxes, Højlund, Anthony, Rashford, and Sancho. 6 forwards. I was told, God, they're all on big wages. United can't afford anyone. United haven't got the money. They've got to sell to buy. Man United have just gone and bought all 3. And the only one of those 6 who has gone is Rashford on loan. They've still got Garnacho and Anthony and Sancho and Xerxes and Højlund. They're all at the football club. But yet I'm hearing from all the Spurs reporters that, we've got to sell Basuma before we can buy someone. What? Why? Why do we have to sell someone? Why do we have to? Surely you buy and then you put your squad together, and whoever's not registered, sorry, find a club. And this is exactly this, Andy. Even when we finally win, the fans always seem to lose under this ownership. I'm just a bit confused. I'm just a bit confused as to. I don't expect Spurs to listen. I'd love them to. I don't expect Spurs to try and match Man United and Newcastle for 85 million for Sesko. I'm not saying that. But you don't have to spend 85 million on a player for them to be good, do you? And then what I'm seeing this morning is I'm seeing it already. Oh, Kanoos, go and get Kanoos, Spurs. If you've really another young, unproven footballer, really? Really? Is that where we are? Is this where we are? And somebody messaged me last night and said this. They said, big up to my man in the chat. I won't mention unless he's happy for me to. He said to me, he sent me the picture of Kanoos. Big up, Ben. He sent me the picture of El Kanoos. And he said, this is the perfect trifecta for Daniel Levy. This is low wages, a relegated player, and a release clause. This is the perfect trifecta for Daniel Levy. These other clubs aren't doing that. These other clubs are not doing that. Chelsea are going to buy Hato, Garnacho, Yao Pedro, right? Bino Gittins. They're going to buying footballers, proper players that can go in the first team. Ben, sorry, I'm not angry this morning. You're just disappointed. I'm really yeah. If this was if a transfer window was a form of parenting, my kid has just been expelled for 3 days, excluded for 3 days for throwing something at another pupil in the classroom. Like, I'm just so. I know there's 26 days, Ben, and tell me to calm down if you want, but I'm looking at this going PSG in 7 days, Ben. PSG, 7 days. It's a shit show, isn't it?
It's ridiculous what we're having to go through. We're playing in the Super Cup against PSG, which is it's the curtain call for the season. It's when it's supposed to be the showcase of everything that's good about European football. The premium competition versus the second competition to show, look how great European football is. At this rate, our best left winger is Richarlison, because I wouldn't play Tell there. I wouldn't play Odegaard there, and I've got no problem with those two. I've seen little glimpses of Odegaard in pre-season where I think, okay, he's improved. He's still not there, but he's improved slightly. But our best left winger at this moment in time is Richarlison. Our best left winger is Richarlison.
Yeah.
We have to be gearing up for a new season, because we saw last season, the moment we lose 2-3 players, we're 17th. We've got to improve that. Yes, we've improved starting 11 with the signing of Mo Kudus and Joao Paulinho. We will be a much better outfit as a starting 11. But the prices we pay, and it goes back to my fundamental view of everything, and then people say, oh, get rid of your season ticket, blah, 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 blah. The prices we pay are elite level prices, but we're not paying for an elite level football team. And yes, I know football is silly money now. Yes, I know Man United are probably panicking because they've seen they finished 15th this year and they've got no European football. But this is what happens when you've got ammunition, you use it. And we've got all the ammunition. We've got the best PSR in the Premier League. We've got a stadium that makes £3 million every time it opens. We've got the concerts. We've got the boxing. We've got everything. We've got everything.
Yep.
Strategically and structurally and financially, we should be winning Premier League titles. And that's not me saying
in terms of structure, absolutely.
And this is not me saying that I expect Tottenham to win a Premier League title every year, but give it a go. Give it a go, guys. You can get an Ademola Lookman, and I don't think Ademola Lookman is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's far better than Solanke, and he's far better than Richarlison. Straight into the first team. We don't have to spend Declan Rice money on players to improve the first team.
But this is
how much would Robinson cost from Fulham? 45 million, 50 million for Robinson from Fulham? We can easily get Robinson and go straight into the first team. And as much as I like Destiny, Robinson's better than him. In a back four,
sure.
He's better than him. Go straight into the first team. And then it gives competition. We don't have to spend astronomical money. We don't have to. All we need is those few little bread and butter footballers that make our team go from a 5 out of 10 one week and up to a 7. We just need a 7 out of 10 team every single week, and that improves Tottenham massively. It's bonkers. It's bonkers what we're going through.
This is the thing I'm very keen to get across to people, is when I'm using Man United as the example, by the way, Ben, in no way am I saying that Spurs should spend 200 million on free forwards. Listen, I'd love Spurs to go and spend 200 million on free proper forwards. And to the person that just said to me, oh, I didn't credit Levy when he spent 180 million on Solanke, Johnson and Richarlison. I mean, you're having a laugh, right? It's fans like that give us a bad name. But what I am saying is, like you said, Lookman, right? Wissa, Calamawundo, right? Aston Villa have just signed Evan Gussan, right? Who, by the way, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, Evan Gussan, he's the greatest. But I think he's young, he's exciting, he's quick, he's powerful. You think he could be better. Now, they've already got Ollie Watkins, right? They've got Watkins, they've got Rodgers, right? Now they're adding Gussan as another option. And you look at those three, then you look at our three and go, well, how have Villa been able to assemble that? And we're saying we can't compete.
And Villa have PSR problems, remember? Villa have PSR problems. It's the excuses.
But this is why every time I tune in shows and I see people in the chat all day, but Man U, like people seem to know everyone's finances. Yeah, Man U can't afford another striker. Sesko, right? Remember, right? We heard this, Ben. Let this sink in. This is the comical bit about it. Let this sink in. After Cunha, that was the first one, right? After Cunha, it was, yeah, but look at Man U. They can't get Mbeumo over the line. They can't afford him, right? In the end, boom, they paid the asking price in. Oh, but now they definitely can't afford anyone. Yeah, they love Sesko. They can't afford it. They've got to sell. Boom, boom, boom. Sesko. 200 and I believe, if I'm right, it works out to 205 million between those three players. 210 maybe. Was it 65 Cunha, 65 and Mbeumo? What's that? 130. It's going to be 75 odd million for. So you're looking at 205, 210 million, right? And we're sitting here going, yeah, but we can't do anything until Basuma's sold. Like, Well, what are we bloody doing here? We can't buy a striker, Ben, because Richie's cock blocking. Well, man, you were doing it. Why can't we do it?
It's what you said before. If you don't want him in the team, you tell him this season you are not getting a squad number. They've already announced people getting squad numbers. Dragashin's got the number 3 and Paulinia's got the number 6. You tell him you are not getting a squad number this year, Richie. Leave. You are not going to be playing any matches of football. It's a World Cup year, remember? Charleston should be told, you were Brazil's number 9. If you want to play for Brazil this year, find a club and play football matches. We don't want you anymore. You're not in our plans. And then they quietly leave when you tell them it's World Cup year, buddy. It's World Cup year. Leave.
You know what will happen? We'll sign a few players panicking in the last couple of weeks, and people will go, there you go. You all panicked for nothing. But wouldn't it have been lovely?
Or even worse, Savva, we'll luckily beat PSG in the Super Cup and say, well, we don't need anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
We beat PSG.
And the thing that makes me laugh is I would have loved to have gone in to this season prepared. New manager, new setup, give him what he needs before the season starts. Because right now, even if we bring in a player, I mean, when are we playing Bayern? Tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
So no new players, like Paulinho, but no new players we can sign will play before tomorrow. It's going to be touch and go between now and next Wednesday, whether we bring anyone in that can go straight into the Super Cup. So basically, if any new players join from now on, they're thrust straight into first team action with absolutely no prep at all. No prep at all. Right. Let me do some super chats, but I'm just big up to Jamie Allen. Said after this season, we won't be back in the Champions League anytime soon. Well, Jamie, this is the thing for me. Surely Spurs would have looked at that season and gone, we can't have another year like that. Right. We want to challenge for 5th. Listen, I'd love to challenge for 4th, 3rd, 2nd, but let's one step at a time. We want to challenge for 5th. Let's go and buy. Boom, boom, boom. And we haven't. They got Paulinho on loan. Love Paulinho. But again, would they have done Paulinho if it was a £50 million signing rather than a £5 million loan? Don't think they would have. So far, Kudus is the only one where you look at Jamie and go, God, yeah, Spurs acted. And then we got him at a reduced price because West Ham needed money. Like, this club never changes. Big up, Jamie. Big up to my man, Ryan Tristane. Thank you very much, Ryan. Said, big up, Savva. Did not mean to confuse you yesterday. I did not know Simon's YouTube name, but I'm very down on the... Oh, okay, right. Yeah, got it. That's fine. Don't worry. I saw the name Tristane twice. I'm very down on the window. Kudus is good, but it's another bad window. Levy mugged me off as well. Well, look, yes, the window is still open. Yes, there are still players available. But again, there has been no plan. I'm going to talk to Ben about that in a minute. Planning. If there's a plan, you're not scrambling around in the last 3 weeks of the window. Big up to you, Ryan. Appreciate you very much, my man. And big up to Benji. Said, morning, Savva. Listen, I agree it's frustrating that United are spending and building while we are stuck in the mud. But relax, people. Big things are coming. Listen, Benji, I really appreciate the super chat. But no, I hear this every year. Every year I hear relax. Big things are coming. Benji, so far, nothing big has happened. Right?
As much as I don't want to say it, Savva, this is hopium.
Of course it is.
It's hopium.
I love Ben.
Hopium.
But the people that say these things, we hear this every window. Do you know what? Spurs can go and redeem themselves right now, Ben. Bring me Eze. Move heaven and earth to get Eze. I don't care. Go to Palace and go, here's 70 million. Pay it in one upfront fee.
Yeah.
Eze, here's £200,000 a week. You are going to be our main man. And if Spurs do that, for me, they level the window out. By the way, for me, that levels the window out. That doesn't make it an amazing window, but it would be the best signing we've had for a decade, maybe. But Ben,
or at least make Arsenal pay for him. Don't let Arsenal get Eze without a fight. Because at this moment, I don't know what I think it's 68 million. I think the release clause is apparently in place for another 5-6 days. Make Arsenal pay for him. If Eze is going to Arsenal, make them pay for him. Make them pay loads of money and make them pay well over the odds for him. Put in £80 million bid and say, we're giving you stupid money. Make Arsenal pay for him. Because if we're going to have a crap window, let's try and scupper someone else's window. Make Arsenal pay for him. And yes, you can say, yes, if we go to Eze and say we're going to do that and he doesn't want to come and he wants to go to Arsenal, at least you can say, oh, at least we actually tried. Whereas what Daniel Levy has been doing is been putting in place that, at least we tried to get some new signings in. At least we've tried to get... We haven't tried at all.
But this is the problem. Sorry, Ben. I said this to you live to your face the other day. Fans like this are the problem, Ben. Just wait for the final week. We're in the Champions League, mate. Chelsea haven't waited for the final week. City haven't waited for the final. I'm not saying these clubs might not do a deal on the final week, Ben. But City didn't. City needed a left back. Nuri. City needed a midfielder. Yeah? Reinders. City needed another playmaker to replace De Bruyne. Turkey. City needed a goalkeeper. Trafford. Chelsea the same. United needed a front three. But why do we always have to wait for the final week? Why are any fans accepting that? The final week.
And it's not like it's not. Yeah.
Just quickly, Ben. Sorry, for me, the final week should be like what happened with Van der Vaart, where an unexpected opportunity lands on your desk with 48 hours to go and you go, hang on, can we do this deal? Boom. But I want to talk to you, Ben, about planning. We've had a year to plan, and then we've had, 2.5 months of the win. I mean, what have we had? How many weeks since we won the Europa League? 10? Right? I don't know. If anyone in the chat can let me know exactly, maybe
June the 23rd, wasn't it, right? June the 23rd?
No, May the 23rd.
Oh, May, was it
How
May
many weeks has it been since May the 23rd?
It's so long ago now.
There you go. It's been 10. We've had a year, plus since we won the Europa League, we've had 10 weeks and 5 days. How on earth are we so ill prepared? How?
It's even baffling because there was a rumor yesterday. There was a rumor yesterday that Thomas Frank has watched every single Spurs game from last season, which is what a proper manager does. He watches the team and sees the shortcomings. Thomas Frank knows what the problem with Spurs is. He's probably told them, this is what I need. This is why we signed the Paulinho. Fix the other issues. Having a new number 6 isn't going to fix all of Tottenham's issues. It's probably fixed a lot of the issues defensively because it means we can be a bit more solid at the back, especially when Dragic comes back, especially when a lot of that are more defensive players, so we can maybe revert to a back 3 if needed, if we need to change systems. Doesn't fix us going forward. We scored loads of goals last year, but they weren't necessarily... But we've removed Sonny as well, so we're going to have to add some more goals to it.
Well, Sonny, Kulu, and Maddison. That's a lot of GA.
Yeah.
Right? Now, most clubs, granted, Maddison only got injured at the weekend, but most clubs, apparently the club have known for ages about Son, right?
Yeah.
Son has said that, I've known for a while, but surely the club would have known. Surely you do something. Surely in the background you're going, right, Son's going to leave 2 days after we're going to announce this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, everybody, we know
plan.
Son's gone, but here is Jack Reed. Here is whichever name you want to fill in there, we don't do it. We genuinely don't do it. And I'm just,
I don't know what to say to you, Savva.
Sam, I'm not missing the point. That is the point. That was my point. My point is that we're never prepared. That is my point. Why? I'm asking the question, Sam. I don't miss the point. Do you think as a Spurs YouTuber, I don't know this? Do you think there's someone that talks about Tottenham 24/7 doesn't know this? I'm asking Ben, why are we so ill prepared? I'm asking Ben why other clubs know what they're weak at and go and address it. Man United's recruitment team in the summer, Ben, or back end of last season, right, would have been sitting there, wouldn't they? And what would they have been talking about? They would have said, right, we maybe need a defender, maybe need a midfielder. But before we do anything, we need a front 3. And what have they gone and delivered? A front 3.
top quality players as well. Top quality players. Cunha goes straight into our first team. And Burmo goes straight into our first team. Sesko goes straight into our first team.
Exactly.
And we were supposedly the better team because we won that Europa League final, despite the fact we did finish 2 places below them. They finished 15th and we finished 17th. So in the league, they were a better team, but apparently we gave up the league in January, so you don't know. But we beat them 4 times last year. We beat Man United 4 times last season in all competitions. We should be a better team than them already. Just improve and invest some money in the team. Invest some money in the team. We've got Champions League money, which, in the words of Lubo, our best ever season financially is when we got to the Champions League final. So clearly, there is a clear correlation between winning more football matches, finishing higher in the Champions League gets you more money. I think Arsenal made £80 million for finishing in the semi-finals of the Champions League. If they want to make money, spend some money in buying better footballers, play more football games, more gate receipts, more beers being sold at football games. It all works out in the end. Buy some better footballers.
The funny thing is, though, Spurs are very clever because what we can do now is we can go and buy one player between now and the end of the window and everyone will forget everything. Right? For me, I think we need another 3 or 4 in minimum. Listen, as I've said, the only one I can see that makes me go, all right, if we don't do anything else, at least this player's class is Eze. But even then, we're still short. We're still very, very short. Right? These other clubs in the Champions League, they have options. And we can talk about Newcastle, but we shouldn't be aiming for Newcastle. And by the way, this is Ash. This is the point, right? This is the point, Ash. The final week when the season has already started. Why can't we be prepared? Why couldn't we listen? Again, I'm going to use Eze because this seems to be the one that everyone wants. If you want Eze, and if you've wanted him a window, I'm hypothetical. I know people in the chat won't listen to that bit. Then go and get him. Go and get him and say, go on pre-season tour. Give him to Thomas Frank so that Thomas Frank doesn't have to do his pre-season tour with no wingers or strikers. Go and give Eze. Go and give Eze. Tell him, Eze, you're our number 10. Play where you want. Drop into those pockets. Do what you've got to do. I don't even know why I'm surprised, Ben. I'm old and ugly. I've been here before, right? No, don't agree with that. You can't agree with the old and ugly bit.
I'm agreeing with the premise, not that you're ugly, Savva.
We've been here before. We're old enough to know better. And yet every window, we're like, come on, this will be it. And every window, hands up. I sat there and I thought to myself, you know what? Okay, Vinay coming in. Board members going. Frank and his coaching staff coming in. Surely they're going to back him. Surely they're going to give him at least 4 or 5 first-team players. And I'm sitting here 1 week before we play. And when I watch us play, you can see what Frank wants to do. You can see how solid he wants to make us. You can also see that he's got no forward and attacking options. He's got no options. It's I'm very frustrated, Benjamin.
I'm frustrated as well. The club seems to be more interested in pumping silly rumours like Rodrigo. That's what the club seems to be doing. It's I understand with aiming high and trying to go for unbelievable players because unbelievable players is what everyone wants. I don't think we need unbelievable players, Savva. I've said this I don't think we need unbelievable players. What we need are solid 7 out of 10 football players that turn up and play 7. We need a prime James Milner. It's basically what we need. We need a James Milner type player that comes in every single week, puts in 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. That's what we need. We don't need world beaters. We don't need, as much as I would love, if Rodrigo signs today, which is never going to happen, if we sign Rodrigo today, we will all be running round screaming bloody Nora. It's not what we need. It's not what we need. We need just better than what we've got because I think we've got a good husk of a potential team. I think we've got a good husk of a team, and you can see that Frank is making us harder to beat. And all we need to do is steady the ship and make ourselves better. Just need to make ourselves incrementally better. 3 or 4 years of making ourselves a little bit better, and then we're back in that sort of top 3, top 4 race. I'm not expecting Spurs to buy everyone within a single year, but just get those players that we need that's going to make us from there, as you like to say, to there. And if we've improved, we can at least say, okay, we've improved this year, go again in January and make us a little bit better each time.
I think let me. I'm going to leave this comment. I'm going to star this comment because I want to talk about this in a minute. Actually, I'm going to come back to that. Let me just quickly do some super chats. Big up to Tony Rodriguez, always here, always very, very generous. My man out there in Sweden. And if I'm not wrong, aren't you? You're Cape Verdean. If I'm not wrong, Tony, aren't you? Or your family is Cape Verdean. My favourite place to go. I love Cape Verde. Listen, the motto of Cape Verde: no stress. When you get off the plane, there's someone there with a drink for you going, no stress. It's like, oh, God, there is no stress. Until I tell them I'm a Spurs fan, and then there's loads of stress. Says Levy.
They give you the second drink then.
Yeah. Have some more. Sorry, Englishman. We didn't know you were a Tottenham fan. Have all the drinks. Have all the all-inclusive drinks. Big up. He said Levy couldn't care less about Spurs. I don't believe he doesn't care. I just don't believe that winning. I don't believe that on the pitch is the priority. That's the difference. I think he cares very much about the brand. I think he cares about the marketing. I think he cares about the name. I think he cares about making money at Spurs. I just don't know if he's ever pushed the boat out to show that he cares about the actual football. But big up, Tony. Look, we're all frustrated, aren't we, mate? Big up to Emma Morton. Said, morning, both of you. Good morning to you as well, Emma. Big up to you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your generosity. Thanking you kindly. Big up to George, who was gifted a Football Heritage TV membership. Big up, George. You're always very generous. One of my mods and a member. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, that went to Luke, Spotlight on Spurs. If my YouTube studio isn't deceiving me, it went to Luke, someone who completely doesn't deserve it, because Luke came to my house and spent about 12 hours talking to me about his manager, Angepostecoglou. Big up to you, Luke. I hope you're well, buddy. Big up to Rodney Roberts. Thank you, Rodney. Very generous as always, my man. Love you, dude. Said, big up, Savva. I'm surprised you're surprised. I'm surprised you're surprised. Levy says he wants the Premier League, Champions League, then ups the ticket price, sells dreams for cash. Bad season, sack manager, round we go, same old. Listen, you know what? I think the one saving grace is that we've not got a bad manager, Rodney. I think the one saving grace is this man will make sure we don't lose game after game after game after game because he'll have the team organised. Where this manager's going to struggle right now is he does not have the firepower. He does not have the firepower. He's now lost all the creativity plus the firepower out of this football team. And if Spurs don't act soon, we're going to be a mess. Big up, Rodney. Thank you very much, my man. Love you, dude. Thank you. And just before I come back to that comment I wanted, the worrying thing about me is we know what will happen. Even if we go and sign a couple of strikers in the last week of the window, what we'll do is for the first 4, 5, 6, 10 games, we'll be going, oh, but they've got to settle, won't we? Oh, but they've got to settle. They didn't have a pre-season, remember? And for me, this is why there's none of this wait till the last week. Opportunistic signings in the last week, Ben. Opportunistic. Yeah. But I want to ask you about this. Spurs rule, big up to you, said it would have been better if we lost the final, unfortunately. Now, I interpret this as Daniel Levy tends to act when we're in massive trouble or not in Europe or not about to make Europe.
Bingo.
Right? We've made the Champions League. Spurs rule. Apologies if I've interpreted that wrong. Tell me, but Ben, has he got a point if that is what he meant?
I think it's correct. When we don't get in the Champions League, that's when Levy usually buys better players to get us back into the Champions League. But now we've got into the Champions League, he thinks he can settle on this high horse and say, yeah, you know what? I'm all right with this. We've got a massive problem now because and I'm just talking about things mathematically. We're not going to make as much money next year because we are missing a massive a massive tourist generator in Son Heung-min. We're not going to make as much money this year, footballing wise. We're not going to make as much money in the club shop. So the way we're going to make more money is by winning football matches and progressing in more of the cups. So unless Yang becomes a world beater this year and keeps some of that fan base, which I think it won't happen, we're going to struggle to fill that stadium this year. And we've got to start buying footballers. 2 seconds, Savva.
Yeah, you're all good, man. You're all good. You're all good. Yeah, listen, I'm seeing a few people in the chat saying all you're doing is moaning, Savva. Listen, I'm genuinely baffled if anyone's not upset by this. I'm genuinely baffled for all those that think everything's fine. We don't just need an Eze. Spurs need 3 or 4. We've just lost, and I've the right time for him to go, but we've just lost all of Son's goals and assists. Maddison, we've now lost his goals and assists. We knew that Kulusevski was out for a long time. We've lost his goals and assists. Why are we not doing anything about it? Why? That's the genuine question. I'm seeing loads of kids go out on loan. That's fine. Got no problem with that. By the way, the up-to-date count is Valise has gone to Rosario. Mikey Moore has gone to Rangers. Ajayi is at Doncaster. Lancashire is at Oxford. Donnelly is now at Stoke. Dorrington is at Aberdeen. Tyrese Hall is at Notts County. And George Abbott is at Wickham. So they're all going, right? They're all going on loan. Sonny has left the building. Keeley has left the building permanently. But what are we doing about the incomings? You know, I saw Ben Jacobs last night. But by the way, I've got no issues with Ben Jacobs. I don't know him. I've got no issues with him. I'm just relaying what Ben Jacobs said. He's talking last night about El Canouse is someone we're interested in. Eze was someone we talked about but haven't moved for. Grealish is someone we've talked about but not moved for. This player was someone we've talked about and not moved for. That player is someone we've talked about and not moved for. Now, he could be chatting absolute nonsense. Sure, I get it. He could be chatting absolute nonsense. I get it. But if this is true, if it is true that we want X, Y, Z, why does it take us so long? Why does it take us so long to move? Why does it take us this long? And by the way, we might announce a signing today or tomorrow or Friday. And what it does straight away, the fans immediately go, everything's rosy. Now, I'll celebrate the signing depending who it is. For me, we need 1, 2, 3. We need go out there and get it done. You know, if I'm hearing that another centre-back is what we need and fans going, yeah, we need another centre-back, but not forwards, I genuinely don't know what we've been watching. I genuinely don't know how the club can't keep getting away with this. And this is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Big up to Hard Pop Sausage. This is the one thing that I didn't want to happen, was that we finally buy a wide man who can beat his man and worries defenders, and then we have to shift him into the middle and put Johnson out there that does nothing out wide right. The whole Spurs fan base could, yeah. No, Garnacho's going to Chelsea, isn't he? Another one that our fans won't want. I'll take him all day long when looking at our wide left forwards. When I look at Tellen Odegaard, I'm taking Garnacho all day long. By the way, I'm not saying he's coming to Spurs. That's a good way of putting it. Hans Lundberg. I said, Levy cares about Spurs, but that doesn't mean he knows how to improve us. There we go. My 3-year-old niece loves playing the trumpet. It doesn't mean that she isn't useless. Oh, where are we going? Disrespect on Ange again. I don't know what disrespect. I haven't said any disrespect to Ange in this show, have I? I'm using facts. He got a 17th and 22 defeats. We've got to improve on that. I'm just guys. I just want to come on one day. I want to come on one day, and I want to go, guys. Can you believe that Spurs have bought X, Y, or Z? Can you believe it? Can you believe Spurs have gone and done it? Nah, sorry, I'm not doing this again. No, this isn't how top clubs work. No. Sorry, you think that Frank waited till he was on tour to review our squad? We were on tour for about 6 days, weren't we? What are you talking about? Tottenham played 2 games on tour. What are we talking about? Of course it is, Tony. Of course it is. So we'll wait for Ben to get back into it. But yeah, big up Jay Ty. Listen, I try to get a lot of hate along the way. By the way, where's the love, people? Where is the love? There's nearly 800 of you in here, 290 likes. Guys, come on. What? We can't even get to halfway. We can't even get to 400. And also, we've had 4 subscribers today. Come on. We can do better than that. The link is pinned. Marcus said, Savva, quick question. Do we have one of the highest loan players out of the club in the league? I don't know. I'm going to be brutally honest. I genuinely don't know. Listen, I'm not against all of these players going out on loan. I don't think any of them are good enough to help us. What I'm against is Spurs. What I'm against is Spurs not signing better players. And that is the cold, hard facts. He had a better front three at Brentford. Let that sink in. Listen, I'm hoping that come the 1st of September, all of my fears have been put to rest. But I've been doing this for a long time, as have many, many of you. We've been doing this game a long time, where we all think this is the window. We all think we're going to back the manager. And fans, the excuses that are made for very average footballers is baffling. The excuses. Just remember, I don't know what that means. What do you just remember, Odo? I don't know what that means. Yeah, I just want better. Surely we all do. But you say that, Piggy Smalls. Where are they trying to do better? Why are other clubs able to go and why are Man U able to go and sign players? Why are Chelsea? Why are City? Why have Villa managed to go and sign Evan Gussan? I was told Villa had 0 money and had to sell and had PSR issues. I was told Man United were in deep financial trouble. Come on, we've got to stop doing this. We've got to stop doing this. Or we're trying. Absolutely not. He's a dreadful footballer. No, he's a dreadful footballer. He can't hold the ball up. He's not strong. He's got no technical ability. Yeah, but I mean, look, I know people always say this to me. They always say, oh, but, from a YouTube perspective, look, I'm a Spurs fan. Before I'm a YouTuber, I'm a Spurs fan, right? I want my content to be good. I want my content to be like, right now, if you're a Chelsea fan right now, a Chelsea YouTube content creator, every day it's this outgoing, that incoming. God, we're linked with him. We're in talks with him. That's what I want my content to be, mate. I don't want it to always be, oh, look how poor we are in the transfer window. I don't want it to be that. Surely none of us want it to be that. No, Garnacho is not the same level as Tellen Odeberg. No, look what he's done compared to them. Numbers-wise, no, he's not the same level. He's much better than them. No, we shouldn't be getting dibbling. No, we shouldn't. Here we go after the Bayern game, like the Paulinho signing after the Newcastle game to keep us on our toes. I just want us to act like a proper club for once. No PR stunts, no marketing stunts. Literally, I don't care if you name all 5 in one day, but go and get footballers. Go and get the footballers. Yeah, listen, 13, 14 are going to go out on loan. And multi-channel, I said this the other day, right? When I was on the Spurs 5 and the others were all going, I can't believe all these kids are going on loan. Well, the problem is our transfer strategy has been to buy kids, which means that all the academy kids get pushed further down the pecking order. You can't have a youth transfer strategy and then wonder why those youth players behind that are then being pushed out on loan. Gareth, big up to you out there in South Africa. Surely he did. Oh, Ben, you're turning into a sympathizer. You're saying we need, but didn't Spurs go and do this? Kudus and Gibbs White, regardless of the outcome, no one can prove it's our fault. Ben, but Morgan Gibbs White, that saga was started a month ago. And we've not done anything. We've not gone out and bought. Who's the Morgan Gibbs White replacement there? Ben, come on, man. Listen, feel free to jump on, but this is silly now, man. I see these excuses every window. But we tried. Mate, you can quote me saying, we need. But didn't Spurs go and do this? No. Kudus, 1. Paulinia, 2. What about the other 3 or 4 things we need? Where are they? Morgan Gibbs White, the deal fell through. Cool, move on. Where's the next in line? Why are we talking to one player at a time? Fair play. The same way that for us, right, Tel and Danso fall into last year's accounting. It's looking that way. And it's a bloody good job that we have got a coach. It's a bloody good God. Honestly. Look, I know a lot of people want to have a pop at me in the chat. Not you. I get it. Trust me, I want to be here saying positive things. But where this is a transfer window, you have that amount of time to get your business done. And then what will happen is the same people will back, if we have a bad window, the same people will back it and go, can't do everything in one window. I mean, we've hardly done anything in this window. Is this real? Or is this like, Angus, you always tell me players are in talks and I don't see it anywhere. Who has said this, Angus? Who has said this? Not that I'm saying it doesn't make sense, but I'm not seeing it from Romano. Let me check Ornstein. I'm not seeing it from Ornstein. I'm not seeing it from Plettenberg. I'm not seeing it from anyone, mate. Who are you seeing this from? There is a whole world out there, people, of footballers. There is a whole world. Africa King, I've got a feeling they will. I've got a feeling they will, yeah. I've got a feeling that Man United won't stop there.
Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, Savva. And there's not a mid-morning rush, midstream. It's what we love. It's what we love.
Ronnie, in Garnacho's time at Man United, he's got 50 plus goal contributions. Bearing in mind he's 20 years of age or whatever. Last year, before he turned 20, he was the 3rd most GA for any teenager in world football. So, I mean, we can knock him all we want. But if you ask me, if I'm having Garnacho or Tell or Odeber, I'm having Garnacho all day long.
Yeah.
Listen, come on, man. Like, come on. Let me have a look. Make sure I've not made that up. Here we go. I'm pretty sure I saw it the other day. Here we go. Garnacho. Alessandro Garnacho, right? Bearing in mind, he's had, I mean, when you're saying 4 seasons, give it a break. When you're saying 4 seasons, the boys had 2 full seasons in the first team, right? The season before that, he played the back half of the season. He's had 2.5 seasons in the first team, and you're going to try and play it off as 4 seasons, right? In that time, he got 9 GA last year, 11 in his first year, right? 5 in 19 in his very first season. That's just the league. In the cups, he's got 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's got 12 in the cups. In the international cups, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. And he's 21 years of age. He's just turned 21 and he's got over 50 GA for Man United. So no, please don't tell me that he's the same as Matisse Tell or Odegaard. Please, this is ridiculous. Sorry, mate. Can you talk for a bit? I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, when it comes to Garnacho, I think people are. He's far better than Tell and Odegaard. He's far better. You saw the quality of the goal he scored against Everton with that overhead kick. This guy he's got everything in his arsenal to be an amazing Premier League footballer. Whether he's got the right managers at Man United, I don't think Ten Hag was the right manager for him. I don't think. I think Ruben Amorim wants more ready-made players rather than to build potentially. I think Garnacho would be a brilliant footballer for he is a Tottenham Hotspur style footballer. It's the same thing I say about Jack Grealish. He is a Tottenham Hotspur style footballer. He's got a bit of bite to him. He's got loads of quality. He's got all the talent in the world. All you need to do is I think he just needs to be. I think he's an old school football player where a manager needs to put an arm around his shoulder and tell him he loves him, like the old Harry Redknapp style of management. I think that's what we need. And I think it goes back to my point earlier, Savva. Spurs fans think we're going to go for the best in the world. I've just seen Vlahovic again. I've just seen Vlahovic. Do you think Vlahovic really wants to come to Spurs? And as much as I think Vlahovic would be far better than Solanke, is he really that good if Juventus are tearing up his contract? If you're good and you're playing for Juventus and Juventus are not going to be tearing up your contract, let's face it, if Juventus rate you as a footballer, they wouldn't be tearing up your contract, or they would be selling you for big fees. We just need solid. I think Garnacho would be far better than everything we've got. I think Gosand would be far better than everything we've got. I think Ademola Lookman would be far better than what we've got now. We don't need world beaters. We just need better than what we've got. And if Garnacho came, I'm not saying I want Garnacho, but I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's the first ever time I've played devil's advocate on a Spurs YouTube podcast. Clip it if you want. Garnacho would be far better than what we've got. Far better. Statistically, on the eye test, as everything. Statistically, and I'm not everything I needed to see about Matisse Tell. And yes, he's young, so I'm not gonna bash him as much as, because he is again a young player. I'm not gonna bash him. Everything I needed to see about Matisse Tell was what he did on that 1-on-1 against Newcastle, showboating instead of doing what you said, either putting it under the keeper or hitting it across goal. Make the keeper work. But he was more interested in doing step-overs.
Look, by the way, Garnacho's going to Chelsea by all accounts, right? I'm not saying we're going to get him. But what I love is how we turn our noses up. Garnacho last season, in a very poor Man United team, got 21 GA. I don't think the issue with Garnacho is talent. I don't think the issue is his ability as a footballer that people don't like. But if we're looking, right? If we're looking at Garnacho when he gets on the ball compared to when Tell and Odegaard get on it, there are levels. There are levels to this. And, you know, I mean, this guy in the chat, he's doing his best. You know, Ronnie's doing his best to belittle him. He's talking about 4 seasons. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? Let me show you. I'll show you, because I don't like it when people try and do this with people. Here we go. Let's have a look at Alessandro Garnacho. Now, but this is just looking at, I can't get all his goals and assists on this one page, right? But when we're looking at, he's talking about 4 seasons. Look how harsh that is when judging like that. Right, there we go. Look at it. He's going back to 21-22, where he had 2 appearances, right? And he's counting that as a season, right? So then he's played the back half of that last season, right? In the Premier League. Right? It's only been 2 seasons he's been a proper first-team player for Man United. Right? And in that time, in those 2.5 seasons, he's got 50 GA. Right? Now, I'm not saying, oh my God, that's amazing. But 50 GA in what has been a terrible Man United team. He's 21. He's just turned 21. And we've got fans that look at Tell and go, he's better. Based on what? Like, based on what is Matisse Tell better than this lad? I've no idea what we're doing. Got no idea what we're doing anymore.
And it's not to say that Matisse Tell might become a very good football player for Tottenham. In 2 years, Matisse Tell could be the business. But here's the problem, Savva. And this is the problem we always said. We need players for now. We don't need players for tomorrow. We've got enough players for tomorrow coming through the door. We've got enough problems. We've got enough problems about building problems for doing stuff for tomorrow. We need to build for today, because tomorrow we might not be in the Champions League. We are in the Champions League today. We have to be building for today.
Yeah.
So it's very frustrating.
But by the way, Ben, and I have sent you the link, so I know you're going to come on. But when you're saying we acted out of character with quick fire bids, well, we were talking to Kudus for a couple of weeks. So yes, and then the Morgan Gibbs White deal fell through. A big club. Imagine if Chelsea had been in the Gibbs White situation, right? I'll ask you this, Ben. If Chelsea had been in the Morgan Gibbs White situation and the exact same thing had happened and it all went to pot, what would Chelsea have done in the next week?
Bought another player to spite them.
Boom, done. What did Tottenham do? Nothing. We can say we're moving differently, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not signing footballers. It doesn't mean anything.
And a big club doesn't act 3 weeks on a deal that they know is not going to happen. That's not what big clubs do. And I won't get onto this conversation because it upsets everyone. This is why Tottenham we don't act like a big club. We don't act like a big club. If you fail to prepare to fail.
Yeah.
That should be the new. Instead of to dare is to do. We should be fail to prepare to fail. That is, except just remove that first bit and just say prepare to fail.
Yeah,
that's what we do. That's what we do.
Yeah. By the way, listen, just on the Garnacho piece, if he's that bad, why did Chelsea want him?
Correct.
Let's be brutally honest. If he's that bad, why did Chelsea want him? I think everyone seems to think they know. As I said, everyone seems to think they know everyone's attitude as a footballer as well. I think the attitude comes down to having the right manager to put his arm around you and say, "Hey, what are we doing?" Ben, you've had to come on to explain your excusing of Tottenham's diabolical transfer window. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you? I was a bit unprepared there. Sorry.
That's all right, man. That's all right. Yeah. By the way, just quickly, Mark said, tell his 19-year-old just played his first 5 months of English football. Is he the answer now? No, probably not. But look what Frank's done with our other attacker. Mark, I don't disagree with you, Mark. But I'm saying for 19 and for 45 million, there's much better footballers than Matisse Tell out there. That's the first point. Secondly, if this guy is a starter for Tottenham, that's where I worry, Mark. I've got no problem if he's in the background and Frank is working with him for a few years. But this is we've got to stop doing this. Stop paying big for teenagers and then using their age as an excuse. If you've used our budget to buy players, there are players. Ben,
yes.
Come on, man. Come on. It's an appalling window as of the 6th of August. Surely.
Let's go back to what you said, right? So we all know what Spurs are like. All I was trying to say is Tottenham have already gone against the grain by bringing in Kudus early and attempting to get Morgan Gibbs White. And again, no one can prove that the Morgan Gibbs White situation was our fault. Ergo, it's just a bit, unfortunate. All I'm saying is that is already against the grain of Tottenham Hotspurs. I don't think if we'd brought those two players, if we've got Kudus and Gibbs White, I don't feel like we would all be panicking as much because we know what we are as a club. We know what we do. We do things towards the end of the window. Why? Because that's when Levy has a better grip when it comes to negotiating. So I'm just saying, I feel like had we landed Gibbs White as well, we wouldn't be panicking as much as we are right now. It was my point.
I'm gonna throw the obvious at you. We didn't land him.
No, we didn't. Oh my God. Sorry about that.
But the thing is, we didn't. The cold hard facts are it fell through, and what have we done to counter that? Nothing.
Yeah, but we know our targets, though, don't we? I mean, we knew Eze was a target.
Do we?
Well, I mean, it's been going around long enough, isn't it? Really, and a few people have said it. I'm just saying, like, with someone like maybe going for Eze instead of Morgan Gibbs-White, it's difficult because, as far as we could know, Eze's gone. No, I want Arsenal, and that's it.
Sure. So then who else? So where's the targets? But have you noticed what? Listen, the difference between me and you is I want to do. You want to talk. I want to do. I want action. No, but this is true because Ben, what you're doing is you're going. Oh, we tried. We know. Listen, Tottenham Hotspur are one of the biggest clubs in this country, right? Whether fans want to banter it or not, we're one of the biggest clubs, one of the richest clubs in this country.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. Oh, well, we tried for Gibbs White. Oh, nothing's happened. Oh, well, we know Eze's difficult. All right, cool. But we've had this transfer window's been open how long? 10 weeks?
Yeah.
Chelsea, I'm sure, are not getting some of their first targets. City, they wanted Florian Wirtz. Didn't get him. Went and bought Rayan Cherki. Like that. When are we going to act like that? When are we going to go, right, James Maddison got injured. Right, cool. What are we doing? Now, okay, it's only Wednesday and this happened Sunday. But I would expect within the week, Spurs have acted. Whether that's on loan, whether that's a signing, move, act like a big club. No negotiations for 5-10 days. Go, what do you want? We need this guy. Boom, 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 done. But we're not doing it, Ben. We're not.
No, look, please don't mistake it. I'm with you 100%. But the difference is, I have just come to the conclusion, the realization that we are never going to act like that. Should we? Absolutely. But we're not going to act like that. I feel like people have come to a realization. This is just Tottenham Hotspurs. This is how we do it. It's based on sustainability and many other factors. At least that's what Daniel Levy comes to say. As far as what you're saying, going out and buying these big players, even if they're not of superstar quality, I hear you. But again, you know what we're like. We're never going to do that. And that's why I was trying to make my point of Morgan Gibbs-White and Kudus. I feel like that was against the grain for Tottenham Hotspur. So I felt like something had changed.
Can I ask why Morgan Gibbs-White and Kudus should be the players we're going for? I don't feel like either of those are players where we go, oh my, listen, I love Kudus, by the way. I like Gibbs-White. Neither of them are players where I go, I cannot believe it. Like neither of them are the top echelon.
Are we there as a club to expect players in like that? Is my question.
I'm not asking for that. What I'm saying is the Gibbs Whites, the Kuduses should be the standard. That there should be 5 players at that level coming in this window. There should be 5 players at Gibbs White Kudus level coming in. Yeah, no worrying, no messing about. But again, all I'm hearing is a lot of excuses for this football club. A lot of it. Oh, well, we tried with Gibbs White. Did we? People saying no one knows if we were wrong. Well, if we weren't wrong, why haven't we sued? If we weren't wrong and we hit their release clause, why have we not sued Nottingham Forest for not allowing him to leave for Tottenham? You know, but it's not about Gibbs White. Look at how Chelsea act, right? Chelsea. Right now, Xavi Simons is the one that they're trying to get over the line, right? We all know they will. I think, do we all agree that Chelsea will?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if Xavi Simons, if today we got the news that the deal's collapsed, I guarantee by the weekend there's another player they're in talks with in that Xavi Simons position. Because that's what they do. That's what because they're football clubs, Ben. Because they care about the football, right? Look at, I bet you Newcastle, right? I bet you Newcastle. If Sesko, it looks like he's going to United, right? I bet you the moment they are informed by Sesko and his agent that he's chosen Man United, I bet you Jackson, Watkins, whoever it is, they will go and bid. They will be like, right, what's our next option? Spurs, we don't get a player. We sit there twiddling our thumbs. And we get Ben Jacobs and Ali Golds telling us, oh, well, they like the player. They're monitoring. We're appreciating. Well, last night, Ben Jacobs on Last Word on Spurs. Big up to Ricky and his show. Ben Jacobs, I'm not knocking him for this, but look, let me read you a few of these things. This is what Ben Jacobs said last night on Last Word on Spurs, right? So let's go to this one first and foremost. Where are we? So we've got Eze. So Crystal Palace wants 68 million package for Eze. No club wants to pay anywhere around this, as the clubs value Eze around 55 to 60. It is unclear if Spurs will approach Eze after the Maddison injury. What does that mean? Like, surely if Spurs want Eze, if we do, just pay 68 million for him. Just go and get it done, right? Here you go, El Kanous. By the way, I don't want El Kanous. But Tottenham have considered inquiring. This is what Ben Jacobs said. Tottenham have considered inquiring about El Kanous. He's got a 22 million release clause that wants to play in the Premier League. Now, that's a player I don't even want. Jack Grealish, he said this. 3 weeks ago, Jack Grealish was internally discussed. Spurs ended up going against signing the player. But the door is not yet closed on a potential signing. What does all this mean, right? Who was the other one? Leao, right? This is all Ben Jacobs, by the way. This isn't me. Tottenham have inquired about Leao, but is in love with Milan. However, due to no European football, Milan will be willing to sell to fund their transfer window. Right? Everything is inquired. Thinking of inquiring. They talked about it round the table at Spurs. Come on, Ben. This is amateur hour, isn't it? This is just amateur hour of how to run a transfer window.
Which Ben?
Yeah.
Either of you, man. Either of you. The question stands.
Go on, Ben, you go.
It's Brian Daigle's buzzword bingo. We're all playing
is.
it. We're playing it every single day. It's concrete links. It's proceeding to inquire. We should make this a TV show. Brian Daigle's buzzword bingo, because we laugh about it every single year. It's mildly comical. If Peter Kay came up with this or Mickey Flanagan, people would be watching it on a Saturday night and they would be laughing their faces off. It's brilliant. It's brilliant entertainment. It's hilarious.
Daigle. Everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Buzzword Bingo. Today's main word is monitoring.
Yes. If there are any TV producers watching this show, firstly, subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Great. And secondly, make that a TV show. Football Heritage TV as well.
The channel you're on, then. How about that?
Yeah, they can do that as well. But if they're here, if they're here and they're not subscribed, Savva, what are they doing? In the words of Perchy, what are we doing here?
By the way,
what are we doing here?
Look, this is what I always get from big up Wayne. I completely agree with you, by the way. Big up to Wayne. This is what you always get from fans of other clubs who don't understand our fans like the way I don't. Absolutely. We have fans who lord over people like Johnson, Odegaard and Tell, but in the same breath, we belittle Grealish and Garnacho and players like that. It is it is truly baffling, guys. It is a big up, Wayne. Can't agree with you more.
I'd love to have Jack Grealish at Spurs. I think Jack Grealish is the perfect Tottenham Hotspur player in terms of the way he plays football. He's got everything a Tottenham Hotspur player. Bit of bite, great with the ball. He's got a bit of personality. He's got everything about him that says if he came to Tottenham, he would be loved by Tottenham Hotspur fans.
Agreed.
He would be loved. He's not had the best couple of seasons at Man City, but loads of players don't fit into Pep Guardiola's team. One year he's loved by him. Next week that is. You can be that when you are Manchester City. You can be that ruthless. You can be that ruthless when you are the cream of the crop of the biggest team best team in the country for many, many seasons. I would love Jack Grealish, mostly because how good would it be to stream one of Jack Grealish and Maddison's parties? I think that'd be prime YouTube content.
I just want good footballers at the club.
Yeah,
and Jack Grealish is a good footballer.
Yeah,
you know, I'm bored. I'm so bored of having to say, "Oh, but they're only 18, but they're only 19, but give them 4 years." But they can be coached. But I'm so bored of it. Go out, get a first 11 where in the background, right, we can let the manager coach the youngsters in the background. Do you know what? Like, I always use this example, and I know this is probably going to the extreme, but look at Man City. When Pep Guardiola is bringing through a McAtee, a Nico O'Reilly, a Phil Foden, he doesn't chuck them straight into the first team and leave them in there for 25 games in a row. With Phil Foden, he brought him in, didn't he? Brought him in for the odd game and then removed him. Brought him in for the odd game, then removed him. Look at Nico O'Reilly. gradually getting more and more minutes. Gradually. Look at what Spurs do. We'll buy a Tellen Odeberg and go. You're the main man. Play. And then we go, oh, but they're only young. Well, if we're the 8th richest, 9th richest football club in the world, stop buying only kids if we want to complain about them being kids.
So I've got something you might enjoy, mate. I'm going to ping this over to you now.
Go
I
on.
don't know if you're able to hear this. No, you're going to love this.
Is it football related or is it
porn?
Of course
it is. A little bit. You never know. No, I've just
Love
pinged
Island.
it over to you. I don't know if you
Island.
can. This is kind of how we operate, and it makes me giggle at the very least. I don't know if you can share that, but it's a thing I tweeted about a couple of years ago. You might giggle.
Let me send it to myself and I'll bring it up on the screen. Pause. So I'm learning the pause word is very important in YouTube world, by the way. Let me send that to myself 1 second. Yeah, look, by the way, Isaac, I saw your post just then about not idolizing Man United's recruitment. I think the difference is, Isaac, if you actually look at Man United last year, what was their biggest weakness? It was putting the ball in the net. Right? If you actually look last year, Man United's defense, for everyone who complained about it, wasn't actually terrible. Didn't concede a million goals. So right now, what Man United have done before they do anything else is go, right, one thing we're not going to have a problem this season is putting that ball in the back of the net. Right? They've now got Cunha and Buemo, Sesko and Bruno Fernandes. Imagine the GA between that four. In all competitions, I think the GA between that four is going to be what? 80?
About that.
I mean, Bruno Fernandes gets about 30 himself a year. Cunha and Buemo, Sesko, 75, 80, maybe between them. Big up, Connor.
Hello, lads. All right.
You're all right. Oh, Connor. Just trying to, Ben's trying to make us feel better. Ben's like my mum when I was growing up and I didn't feel well. She'd give me a little spoon of cowpole and I'd pretend.
I thought it would cheer you up, mate. I'm sorry.
I respect that, though, to be fair. I respect it.
What, a bit of cowpole or?
A bit of cowpole, yeah.
Do they still do the purple ones, anyone know?
Yeah. It's the orange one only, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
No, it's pink. It's pink. My kids have that one. Yeah.
Superb.
I wouldn't know.
Connor, before I bring this picture up that Ben sent me, where are you at with this? I mean, there's a school of thought. Stop moaning. Don't worry. There's time. We can go in the last week. The season hasn't started. Then there's my school of thought, which is we start our season in 7 days, right? Against PSG, 7 days. Where are you at with all this, Connor? You're a very level-headed young man, aren't you?
Look, I think, even I don't want to be completely negative, but even if we do the work that we need to do, I'll still take a few points off this window because of how badly late it is. Again, you've got a new manager that wants to implement new systems and new tactics, and you haven't given him the best chance of success. We've given him a proper pre-season to use those new players, and that's just, again, it's just classic ENIC, classic Levy's Tottenham. We are where we are. I've got no confidence that we will do the business that we need to do before the season starts next Wednesday, or the Premier League starts next weekend. But it's just so disappointing, and I'd even go as far as to say that, given the context of the fact that we finished 17th last year, but still got the golden ticket of winning the Europa and getting Champions League money in, this is up there with one of our worst windows ever. Even though I'm very happy with Kudus and Paulinho as signings independently, I like those players, but just because of how much we should have been doing and we got the opportunity to do, we're now 5-6 years into the stadium, money coming in left, right and centre, it is just so disappointing.
Isaac, do you know the crazy thing is, right? We've been top 4 for money spent since the stadium has been built. Can anyone understand how that's even happened? Like, I feel like we've not,
because we spend money on potential.
Yeah,
it's all potential.
We spend money on potential rather than players for now.
So what do you think that is then, Ben? Why do we do that? What is the difference between us and a Man United, for instance? Why?
Because they're a football club.
They're a football club.
We're not a football club anymore. We've not been a football club.
Do you think our purchases are for future profit? Is that what you think?
No. Can I? Sorry, I don't think that they're all about future profit. Because if you actually look at what we've done, outgoings since, I mean, I don't know if you boys saw this. I'm sure Connor has. He loves a little bit of the financial stuff. If you look at, oh God, who said it the other day? I don't know if it was Ben Jacobs or Matt Law, whoever it was.
Matt Law, wasn't it? Yeah.
In the 6 years since we've been in the stadium, they showed that we have sold, I think, forgive me, I might be 1 or 2 million out here. Forgive me, Connor, you're going to hate me for this. Sorry, I'm not this guy. It was something like 296 or 294 million pounds worth of sales in 6 years, right? Now that figure is skewed because 100 of it was Harry Kane, right? 100 of that was on one player. Now, what they showed was only 13 players have been sold at over 10 million pounds. Only 13 are over 10 million pounds. And I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was something like only 2 of them were at a profit. I believe Bergwijn was at a profit that was like 1 million, or I don't know. It was something ridiculous.
I think it was 30 million as well, Sav. I don't think it was a profit. I don't think it was a profit.
Well, whatever this chart showed, there was like 2 players that went for more, and it was like it was that, Ben. Do you know what I mean? It was. Yeah. It wasn't.
If you only make a tiny profit, you're making a loss.
Right. So the whole point, Ben, for this is, one, is it about making profit further down the line? Well, if it is, we're dreadful at it. And 2, I think it's this notion that by buying those players, by not having to go and spend. Let's be fair. For Spurs to go and spend 200 million on Cunha and Buemo and Sesko. Let's use the United example. How much wages a week do we think Cunha, Sesko and Buemo, between the 3 of them? I'm going to go with, I reckon that's 650 to 750,000 between the 3 of them a week.
Yeah, I would say about that. Yeah, 600 grand, something like that, 600, 700.
I reckon Sesko and his agent right now are going, right, we can play these 2 against each other. We want 250 minimum. Right?
Yeah.
Cunha and Buemo, right? So if we're going to say 650, let's go conservatively, 650, which would be 215 grand each, right, a week. The difference is they'll go, let's take that risk. Let's spend 200 million on these 3 forwards who we think are going to take us back to where we want, or start taking us back to where we want to go. We're going to pay 700, 650 grand a week. Let's do this. Tottenham Hotspur, what we've done is, for every, I mean, Kudus is, I reckon, probably going to be on about 120, 130. I don't know. Someone might tell me 150. I don't know. Right. But for that, we're going to balance it off with a Takai, who's probably going to be on about 20 grand. I don't know, 30 grand a week. Right. We're going to balance that off against a Danso, who I don't know, 70 grand a week, maybe. Right. So it looks like there's loads of money going out, and there is, and Connor can shut me down on my nonsense in a minute, but there is a lot of transfer fees going out, but it's volume. So these other clubs will buy 3 or 4 players for the same money where we spend on 9 or 10. But the 3 or 4 they buy go straight into the 11, straight away quality, and win them titles and Champions Leagues and FA Cups and yada, yada, yada. We can't sell anyone because we buy... We're stockpiling average footballers, and we're not learning. We're stockpiling average footballers that people praise, and these same players that we're doing it now, right? By the way, hear me out. Sorry for the rant. I'm not saying all of these and none of these that I'm about to mention are going to be top players. I'm not. But we're doing it again. We're stockpiling. We're buying Takai. We're buying Danso. We're buying Tell. We're buying Odeberg. We're buying Yang. We're buying Valise. We're stockpiling lots and lots and lots of footballers. Then in 2-3 years, all the people that have been backing these players going, oh, they're good, give them time, they're going to be great, you're too harsh on players. In 2-3 years' time, they'll all be complaining, we can't sell Deadwood. Well, if you buy average players over and over and over and over again, you're not going to make a profit and you're going to struggle to sell them. And that's exactly what Spurs are seeing right now. We can't sell because who's coming in for Richarlison for money, for Spurs to make money? Who's coming in for Basuma? Who's coming in for Davis? Who's coming in for... Sorry, rant over, but Connor, am I along the right lines from your point of view?
No, I think you are. Like if you look over the period of Enoch in Tottenham, our only sales they've been very sort of one real big one. So Kane was an example. Carl Walker was a big one. Before that, Modric, right, where you're selling Bow, obviously. So we have these one-off players that sell for huge amounts, and then everyone else we've been diabolical at selling. I think one of the reasons for that is because Levy asked for too much money, and it suits the ownership model to not have to replace players because they'd rather just stick with what we've got because it's cheaper. And who wants to negotiate with Levy now? Because every negotiation with him, he has to win. So I think that's the point about selling. I think, look, this stat about we've spent the fourth most on net spend since the stadium, that's true, but I think it misses a lot of context. The first bit of context is for the 5 years before we moved into the stadium, we only spent £70 million net over that 5 years. So, we were in need of a huge rebuild. And that's the reason why we've had to ramp up our transfer spend since moving into the new stadium. Over 10 years, we've spent more as a club in terms of the club's cash on infrastructure than we have on players, right? So, our net spend over 10 years in terms of real cash that's gone out of the door is about 400 odd million. We've spent 500 odd million on infrastructure out of the club's cash in that time. So you can see where the priorities are. The other point is wages, and obviously everyone, people are mentioning it in the chat. If you add net spend plus wages over the last 5 years since we moved into the new stadium, we've spent £600 million less than the big six average on those two things combined. So, Levy loves to peddle this stat about how much our net spend has ramped up since we moved into the stadium. But in terms of those clubs that we are meant to be competing with and should be competing with based on the financials of the club, we're not when it comes to wages plus net spend. So I think it's, this is just the history of Tottenham, and it continues year after year. We get ourselves excited. I mean, I even naively thought something must be coming when we had Kudus announced and then suddenly triggered Gibbs White release clause. I mean, Savva, you made the point before I joined, that's the way we should just be operating. But we're all justifying it by saying, oh, there must be investment coming or there must be this coming, when actually that should just be the way we operate anyway, right?
Can I show you something, Connor?
Yeah.
Right. Are you there, guys?
Yeah.
Hello? Everyone there? Sorry, I don't know what happened there to the screen. Can I show you?
Yeah, it went laggy for a minute, didn't it?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me show you something, right? I'm just going to bring up, this is Chelsea's transfer market, right? I just want to show just how bad we are in the market compared to them. We can say whatever we want, right? Have a look at how they get rid of players. Look at this. This is this summer on the right-hand side. Madueke, Felix, Petrovic, Amagu, Humphreys, Kepa, right? Bettinelli, right? They're in the middle of selling Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Armando Broja's just agreed terms at Burnley. Right? Sterling's going to go. Right? They'll probably get rid of Nkunku's. How are they making money from these players and Tottenham can't sell anyone? Like that's got to be a staff issue. That's got to be a staff issue or a club issue, because the list of players I've just reeled off there, none of them are amazing. I know, yeah, Felix has got a great name in football, but again, look, none Petrovic, Madueke, Amagu, Humphreys, Kepa, Bettinelli. Look how much money they're making as a football club. And then while you guys talk in the background, I'll find out what Spurs have done from sales right now.
Yeah, I mean, the example I often use is Basuma, right? So Basuma, he needs to go, but he's not a terrible player, right? Someone would sign Basuma.
Yeah.
How much do you guys reckon Basuma's worth? I'd say 15 million, probably.
I'd
10,
say
15 million.
I'd say if we get 20, we've had a result.
Yeah.
It's funny. When we signed him, I actually thought he was worth about 50, 60 million. I don't know if you,
signing at
Matt, what did we get him for? 35?
25. I mean, everyone was happy, to be fair, with that signing when it happened. But all right, so let's say he's worth 15. If you're a proper football club and you really want him out the door to create squad space, and you're worried that perhaps he's staying because he wants to run down his contract to then get a signing on fee elsewhere, sell him for 10 million and tell that new club to give him 5. Done. He's out the door. You don't take him on the pre-season tour. You tell him you've got no future at this football club. And this is what Chelsea do. They say to these players, we're not going to register you. You're done here. So, we either find a transfer for you, or you're going to sit there and do nothing. But obviously that never happens because they're going to find a transfer, and they're
But
willing. And
boys,
Arsenal, prime example, they did this right when Arteta wanted to shift people out like Aubameyang and Ozil. They were willing to take losses on these players to move the football club on. The problem with the Tottenham is it suits us not to replace these players because it's more expensive to do so.
I mean, I just want to throw this out there regarding Chelsea. I think it's a very harsh thing to compare us to that club, because you have to admit, sorry, I'm just looking at some of these. Wow. Yeah, you have to admit that Chelsea, and I don't know how they're doing it because there's not many other clubs out there that do it. They're selling blissfully average players that have spent an absolute fortune on for extortionate money. How they're doing that is beyond
Yet
me.
they would all still get in our first team, Ben.
No, behave. No, definitely not.
Do you think Sancho would get in our team? He's just gone back to Man. He would get in our team. Let's get the list of Chelsea players.
Can you bring that back
get
up?
the list. Let's see if they get in the first team at Tottenham.
Ben
fair,
Kay, I don't think you're going to win this one when I'm looking at the level that they've sold. If I'm honest, they've got sold players like Amagu. But by the way, from that Chelsea list, if I bring that list back up, actually, here we go. Let me bring that back up. Please let the back button work. Do your thing. There you go. Right. Just look, right. That's 151 million euros there, guys, right? 151 million euros. That doesn't even take into account Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, Ogachukwu, Chukwuemeka, and Ambrosia. They're all going. Those four are all going or have gone this week. Chelsea have done over 225 million in sales for very average footballers. But when you're saying, Ben, we can't compare ourselves to them, so why have we not implemented a team that are capable of selling and moving these players on like that? Are you telling me that Amagu, Humphreys, Bettinelli, you're telling me that we can't do the same thing with Richie, Basuma, Ben Davis, Benton, whoever you want to chuck into that mix of not being wanted, Brian Hill, Solomon? Are you telling me that we can't implement that and sell players like this?
I think you're going to have to base that on Daniel Levy, mate, to be fair. I feel like he's the one that would stop that from happening, based on not wanting to be embarrassed for the amount of money he's spent to the amount of money he's going to receive on sales. And I don't know his thinking there, but
Spurs could sell Basuma tomorrow if they wanted to, Savva. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
And same with Richarlison.
Yeah.
If they put the price at the right level, they set it low enough, i.e., they're happy to take a bath on it, and as Ben said, not get anywhere near what they paid, they could sell these players and get them out the door.
But don't you think as well?
It's what you said.
I agree that we talk about Levy and stuff on that front, but again, you've got to have a recruitment team that are well versed with ins and outs. And the one thing, whatever we want to say about Chelsea, and I know football fans hate giving any credit to rivals and to other clubs, Chelsea's recruitment team must be phenomenal, because they've got incomings and outgoings all happening in the same day. Like they're constantly moving parts. This is happening, that's happening. Right now, they're in the middle. As I said, the four that they're in selling: Broja, Chukwuemeka, Ogachukwu, and Dewsbury Hall. Right, all four of them right now. Plus, we're hearing that Sterling might be in talks with Fulham. That means there's a Chelsea representative dealing with all of that, whilst they're dealing with who's the Hato, who's just come in, whilst they're dealing with Xavi Simons, whilst they're dealing with Garnacho. Spurs can't even deal with Morgan Gibbs-White at once. Spurs
it's what Connor said, isn't it, Savva? With Spurs want too much money for these players, which means people don't want to buy them. It's again, if you wanted 20 million for Basuma, I think you sell Basuma for 20 million. But I think Spurs will want like 40. That's just the way Spurs act. We ask too much money for them.
By the way,
we could get 5 million for Solomon, and we'd make a profit. We'd get 5 million for Solomon. We'd get 5 million for Brian Hill. I think we can easily get these players out the door. It's just.
By the way, it's just been announced that Darwin Núñez, Al Hilal have agreed a deal with Liverpool for Núñez. But you look at Liverpool. Liverpool have managed to sell Tyler Morton for 15 million to Leon. Was it Leon? He went yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. when the Spurs just rock up and get 15 million for a player that don't ever play in the first team and is a young kid, like Liverpool have managed today to get another, I think it's 53 million up front, I believe, the initial payment for Darwin Núñez, right? Who else is they're probably going to get what 50, 45, 50 million for Elliott.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz 60. How are we so bad at this with both incomings and outgoings? That is my overall thing. Because look at this page. The only and I know they won't have put Son's money on yet because the deal hasn't officially gone through, but Spurs this window, and the only other one not on there is Josh Keeley at 1 million. Spurs this window got 13 million euros from Højbjerg, which was agreed this time last year, if I'm not wrong. 1 million from Josh Keeley, and we're going to get 20 million pound for Son. It's fucking pathetic, isn't it? I mean, it is truly pathetic. And just to back me up, right? I'm going to back me up here because if I don't, none of you will. Let's have a look at how shit we were last. Look at this again. Look. Can you all see that? Look at last year.
I mean, the only good deal there is, to be fair, how we got that money for Skip. That is the one exception to the rule. I don't know how we robbed Leicester there.
I don't know how we got 15 million euros for Emerson Royale. I think that's genius.
Agreed, guys. But my point is, again, you look down, and again, we've made 55 million euros last summer from sales, right? Then you go down again. Now, this one is slightly skewed because of Harry Kane, right? So Harry Kane, 95 million euros. Look at the rest of them. 11. 9. This is euros, by the way. 3 million loan fee, 1 million loan fee. So we made 120 million euros, of which 100 million of it was Kane.
Hold on, we got 9.5 for Sanchez. Didn't we buy him for 40 million?
Yes.
45.
This is the point. We are so bad. But what we'll do is, this is why whenever I say to fans that keep telling me I'm too negative on these players, this is what we keep doing. Right? Tell already, we've spent 45 million on Tell through transfer fee and loan fee, right? If that doesn't work out in 2-3 years, we'll be going, he's Deadwood. We need to sell him. What would you take? 15, 20? We'll all be having that conversation, right? And then what we'll do is we'll buy another person that's underwhelming, and everyone again will go, yeah, back this person. We buy one that you back. Odegaard. We bought Odegaard. Back him. 30 million, back him. We didn't need to go Odegaard and then we'll back him as well. And Yang. And sorry, guys, I'm pent up. I'm so frustrated.
No, I completely agree,
the same
mate.
thing every year.
But do you not think that's why Thomas Frank was brought in? Like, so when we announced Thomas Frank, I sat there and I thought, because he's worked on a shoestring budget, perfect for Daniel Levy. But realistically, we supposedly have a lot of talented youth players. You know, a lot of them. There's a good 5 or 6 there that people around the world genuinely rate. You know, your Bergvals, your Greys, your Tells. Do you not think maybe that's why Thomas was brought in, because he is, known to coach these players to get more out of them, to maybe make sales in the future? Do you think that was maybe the plan? Because obviously they've seen, look, we spent a lot of money on youth, and Ange wasn't exactly a coaching coach, was he? Let's be real. Do you not think maybe Thomas Frank has been brought in to maybe elevate these players to a point where they're worth some sort of money later on?
He's not a miracle. He's not a miracle worker, Ben.
No, he's not.
He's not a miracle worker. Just because he's done it at one club doesn't mean he can do it at another club. He's not. You've still got to give a manager of a nucleus of a team that he can work with. You can't expect him, because Brentford work very, very differently from what the way. And if you want to complete the way Brentford work, you buy in the entire Brentford recruitment team as well as the coaching team. You buy them all in. Get them all in, and then you can act the way Brentford did. We act a completely different way. So he's going to need some level of footballers, especially because Brentford play in 3 competitions: the Premier League, the FA Cup, the League Cup. We're playing in 4 competitions this year. We're playing in Europe. We're playing in 4 elite competitions. You've got to give manager a good block to start with, because his Brentford team, although we beat them twice last year, I believe we beat them twice last year, they still, when did Brentford finish? 10th? They still finished 7 places above us last year. 7 places on a shoestring budget. So you've got to get that team up to that level. You can't just expect a manager to come in and with a 17th place team and expect him to be back in. You've got to give them some players.
I'm with you. I just wonder if that was the club's thinking behind bringing him in.
I think it was a consideration, Ben. I think it was when they brought in Frank that they thought,
sure, maybe.
And look, I'm a huge advocate of Frank's, and I know a lot of people wanted Glasner. I actually wanted Frank beforehand because I've just seen what an outstanding job he's done at Brentford. And I think people forget the context of the Brentford in the last 26, 27 years have played in the 4th division of English football, right? So for a team like Brentford to finish 10th is an outstanding achievement.
Unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable.
When these people say Frank's never won anything, it's just an absolutely outrageous argument to hit him with, right? So I was a huge.
What do you expect Brentford to win? What do you expect Brentford to win?
Exactly, but I do agree. He's not a magician.
Whenever that argument is thrown at, but what's he won? You sit there and you think, Jesus Christ, in relative terms, he's won loads. In relative terms, in terms of what he's 100%. Done for Brentford Football Club has been absolutely phenomenal, right?
There's absolutely no world where Brentford should finish 7th place. They shouldn't ever finish above Tottenham, right? Let alone 7th place. We are in a complete different stratosphere to them as a beast of a football club.
They also built a new stadium as well, by the way. They also built a new stadium. I think Thomas Frank's net spend at Brentford was less than what we paid for Dominic Solanke. It's unbelievable.
Oh, he's done an outstanding job.
Look, one side of our stadium is bigger than their entire stadium.
I think Benji's got a point, right? I think he's an amazing coach, and I think Connor's right in terms of it would have been definitely a consideration. But I do feel like we have to be really careful. And I see a lot of people now, and it tends to be the ones that didn't want Ange to leave, that all say, yeah, but he's a coach, right? Now, yeah. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean you can make every player amazing. There are certain people who have different limits to their abilities, right? Some people need it unlocked. Other people, there isn't any more to unlock. Brennan Johnson, for example. Brennan Johnson, I think you can coach him to get in better positions. I think you can coach him to score goals. I don't think you can coach him to have technical ability to the level that he needs at this age, right? I think you've kind of got that or not. But what Thomas Frank is a coach that will coach the team. He'll mold a team. He coaches a structure, but he's not a miracle worker. Everyone's going, but I had this debate with Stel the other day, and big up Stel. Me and him didn't see eye to eye on this. That for me, Stel's point was, well, he's just got to make sure that Tell, Nodba, and all these players get better. But if you give people not bad players, that's the wrong word. If you give people under par players, and you're saying, right, go and compete with Newcastle have got Isak, Anthony Gordon. You can only do so much. Yeah. If one of the three needs coaching, okay, cool. The other two need to be, if we're talking about front three, the other two need to be ready-made, top players, good to go, right?
Sav, I think, with the likes of Tell and Odegaard, it sometimes comes across like we're being really harsh on them, but it's because the club are making us be harsh on them because they're putting them into a position where they're basically first team options. Whereas I think if we'd signed Tell, right, and who knows, right, he's got potential, we'll see. I don't think he's shown loads, but if we'd signed Tell, but also signed a left winger who was a marquee signing, established player, and Tell was going to be a squad option who we're going to develop over time, give minutes in the domestic cups, everyone would go, fair enough.
Absolutely.
The problem is for us is you're expecting Frank to your point, effectively be a miracle worker, whereby he can develop these players to be ready-made now. Tell's 19, he's still got huge amounts to learn in the game. He's not ready to be your starting 11 player in the most competitive Premier League ever, playing in the Champions League. This is the problem, and I think these players will get better. Obviously, they'll get better. Bergvall will get better. Gray will get better.
Sure.
Tell and Odegaard will get better, but Tell and Odegaard, even if they get a bit better, they're not going to replace what Son has done for 10 years at the football club. Right. So this is where we are now, isn't it? And it makes us come across negative, right? When I don't think we're meaning to be. We're just demanding more.
How many can you do at once, though? Like, do you know, when I look at Spurs in the transfer window, the last 4 or 5 windows, you look at it, right? I mean, Tell's come in as a young player. Odeber's come in as a young player. Yang has come in as a young player, right? Now people are going, oh, we want El Canoes. Okay, let's bring in another young player. Oh, we want Donnelly to stay. Cool, let's have another young player. And this was my point the other night, Connor. I know you watched it. I saw you in the chat when I was on the Spurs 5. And the other 4 were all, they were very much against me on this point. A big up, Dan. They were very much against me on this point, right? That I can't believe all of these academy players are going out on loan. And I was like, well, the problem is you've signed Odeber, Tell. Right, hang on, let me get rid of that comment. It makes us look tiny. You've signed Odeber, Tell, Bergval, Gray, Saar,
Biskovic,
Adogi, Takai, all very young players. All very young players, right? Saar, the oldest at 22, but has not been coached. So you've got Thomas Frank has to coach those players who we've paid for and are already in the squad, right? Now we're saying, oh, but we've got to keep Donnelly or Vuskovic, and you're like, well, hang on, where do we think all of these young players are fitting in? Where is it that, do we want a whole squad? Do we want 12 of our 25 to all be teenagers? Do we want to go and compete with Arsenal, City, Liverpool? You know, like I feel like we want to argue every point, but I make it right, guys, the youth point. I make it right. The young players that are going out on loan, I don't see that any of them solve a problem for us. I don't see that any of them are good enough right now. And I'll tell you who they are, right? This is how it stands at the moment, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong. So far, Mikey Moore is at Rangers. Dorrington is at Aberdeen. Phillips is at Stoke. Vuskovic isn't anywhere yet, but has been made available. Yang isn't anywhere yet, but has been made available. Abbott is at Wickham as of this morning. Tyrese Hall is at Notts County as of yesterday. Will Lancashire, as of yesterday, is an Oxford United player. Jamie Donnelly is a Stoke player for the year. Scarlett is available, but not gone anywhere yet. Devine is available, but not gone anywhere yet. Valise is at Rosario, and Ajayi is at Doncaster. I don't think I've missed anyone there. Of all of them, what is it that fans are up to? Who is it that they think from there should be in Tottenham's team in a Champions League year when you've already got Odeber, Tell, Gray, Saar, Bergveld? Do you guys get my point?
Completely. I think the problem is I think people love the romance of someone breaking through the academy into the first team, don't they? That is that's the issue. 100%. And I think when you actually look at the reality, and this is where I will criticise my fellow Enoch out and Levy out people, is they do it with players that they defend who are too good, and then at the same time say the ownership is bad. And they do it with the academy, where they criminally overrate our academy. Most of those players you mentioned will not make it at Tottenham, right? And so, you know, I'm happy to loan them out.
I've said 2 if they're lucky, Connor.
A couple might, right?
2 if they're lucky.
Yeah,
2.
a couple might. But there is a reason. Look, Dorrington, right? Use Dorrington as an example. He's, 2021 now, centre-half. He couldn't get in the team when we had 4 centre-halves injured and we were playing Archie Gray, who's 18, who's not a centre-half, as a centre-half. So he's never going to be good enough, is he? This is basically what is. So I'm very happy to loan these players out. Hopefully, with maybe the likes of Moore, who are the bigger prospects, they will have a really successful loan, and then they'll come back into the fold as they develop over time. But with the other ones, I think it's about maximising value in the same way that Chelsea and City do with their youngsters, and you sell them on. And there'll be 1 or 2 that you make a mistake on, right? And they end up being good players, maybe, but. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it's the right way to operate in terms of getting players into your exact point. You can't develop all of those players plus the ones we've signed, plus want to compete at the top level. You can't have all of these things at once.
Yeah, no, you're right. Agreed. Danny, let me bring you in here.
Morning. Well, afternoon.
I agree with Connor here, Dan, that lots of people have overrated some of these. Like, I'm not saying they can't come good. I'm not right. Whenever you talk about a young player, you get told you're writing them off. I'm not writing them off. But right now, I'm not looking at any of them and going, oh my God, what, you're loaning them out? What? We need them. I don't see any of them as good enough, Dan, right now. Is that fair or harsh? Or
That's 100% fair. Look, let's just be totally honest about things. Not one of those players you would even really want in your team. Well, I say team, in your first 11, let's say, in a League Cup game, really. In a semi-final in the League Cup or a quarter-final in the League Cup. Like, hell, are you going to have him even in your team in an FA Cup sort of thing? And what, people want this for a Champions League? I mean, if we're going to be honest, some of those loans, good loans, especially that Mikey Moore one to Rangers, very, very good loan for him. I mean, people know I don't rate the Scottish League at all, but I think it'll be perfect for him, especially on the physicality side. I think it'll be a very good loan. Maybe in a year's time, he comes back, we see a bit more of a tougher boy or turn into a man, whatever way you want to put it, and we see something from it. Time will tell. He's one that I definitely say, okay, give him a couple of loans, see where he goes. The others as well, how many of them does anyone honestly think is going to make it? And I think you banged the nail on the head when you said one of them couldn't even get into the defence when we had no bloody defenders, which just about says it all. And then we go back to what I think is one of our biggest problems at Spurs, and that's the sentimental fan side, the contradicting fan side, hammering the hands on the floor and going off their head because we ain't buying nobody, we ain't, or consistently, we ain't getting no first team players in there and everything. So Levy's this, Levy's that. We got to put the blame somewhere. But then all of a sudden, we'll defend that we've got all these youth players. We should be playing them, not putting them out on loan, yet complaining we're not getting the big players in. And like, where do you want it to go? What do you actually want? If certain people just want us to bring our youth players through, then right, preach about it. But then do not complain when we don't go out and buy a big player because we're meant to have this youth academy coming through. And then you've got the others that complain about both. You just it's like, what do you actually want at this club? And that's one thing where I feel the fan base needs to sort itself out. We defend the crap, not just the young players. We defend the young players. We defend the crap when we bring it in, that we got to give them every chance in hell when you can blatantly see there should have been better players out there that we could have gone for and stood a higher chance of getting. We just big up literally everything we've got and then contradict ourselves in every single way of what we want for the club. And this is what I can't work out with a lot of fans. What do you actually want? If you want a youth academy coming through, fine. Then don't moan when we don't go and spend 50, 60 million on players.
Exactly.
Right. So, what the hell do people want?
Like this, Dan. See, someone like Riggs, I'll ask. The rest of my panel are too polite. I'm not, right? Engage this. As I've just said, Riggs, if Moore, Donnelly and Vuskovic stick around, how do we get these boys minutes when we've already got a number of players that we've bought in front of them? Right now, we're sitting there going, we've got Van der Ven, Romero, Danso, Davis, Takai, Dragashin to come back, and apparently they want another centre-half. Where do you get Vuskovic minutes? Donnelly. For me, you don't go from Leyton Orient's playmaker to Tottenham's playmaker in the Champions League overnight. Go to the Championship, show you can do it there at Stoke. Let's see a great year, and then maybe bring him back. Right? Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore's a 17-year-old kid, right? When you're saying if he's this great coach, that I don't think you understand what the word coach means. Coach isn't just about upskilling every footballer. It's about implementing a system and a structure and a team and a strategy. A good coach is someone that can go, right, we've got this club this weekend. They do this. We might need to go 3 at the back. Oh, we might need to go 2 at the back. We might. This is crazy. You can't just have, by the way, those 13 players I mentioned, guys, if we had that plus all the first team players that are currently at the club, we'd have 41 footballers. And everyone's going, go on, Frank, Coach Vuskovic, Coach Moore. What? How do people not understand the squad size?
I mean, this point, Sav, about minutes, for Donnelly's development, for example, if he plays 40-odd games for Stoke next season, starts every week, that's going to give him so much more development, no matter how good the coaching is in training with Frank, with the one game he'll get to play in the Carabao Cup or a half, or he comes on for 10 minutes. So you've got, I mean, you just can't do everything, can you? We've only got 11 players that can play on the football pitch at any one point.
Again, I think you're right, 100%. Again, I suppose this one comes down to personal opinion, yeah? But my personal opinion on this, and I always bring him up again, someone like Gray, someone like the others. I personally think the player will develop better as a player through game time. Okay, if he has to go down a league to do it and get another 30, 35 games, baked potato, mate. See you later. Go on. Go and improve. Other people think that by staying at Spurs, he's going to learn off bigger players. He hasn't exactly got much to learn of, has he? I don't think they're very good.
I think he's got that this year, Dan. He's got that this year.
No. I'll believe that more when I see it, yeah? It's not exactly an academy we've got there or a university for teaching, is it? Okay, we've got Paulinho in now. Great loan. Wouldn't have said no to him on a buy. As long as he stays out of an injury, I think he's going to be a brilliant part of this team this year. I think he's going to be a massive part. But again, okay, what's Archie Gray going to do? What, just learn off him off the pitch, basically? What, that's going to help him more than playing 35 games straight? I don't personally think so. I mean, and then the other ones you got to look at is who else has he got there to learn off? He's still about 5th choice in centre mid. So what's he actually going to learn for? Right back? Centre back? Or we actually got him as a centre mid? I don't think anybody even knows that yet. So I just think, fine, go stick him out on loan for a year. Get the experience. I'm a firm believer that experience works better than bloody paperwork, yeah? You got a plumbing problem at your place, and we all know you got to have a certificate for bloody everything these days, yeah? I mean, soon, the way the things are at the moment, we need a VPN and a certificate just to bloody think. And when it comes down to that, you got a choice. Who would you rather have come around your house and sort your plumbing out? That little 18-year-old, respect, just got through college, university, whatever he's done, who's just got his paperwork and says he can do it. Or that 60-year-old fella that you know for a fact has been doing this job for like 40 years, but he just ain't got the certificate. Who do you actually go for? I mean, personally, I go for the experience over the bloody paperwork, yeah? And I feel that going out on loan for these players, and people say you're disrespecting them by saying that they can learn more off the club. Who, really? Okay, we got Paulinho in midfield, but that's about it. I feel going out on loan is the ideal thing for young players to get stuck into a game, to get consistent games, not just play an odd League Cup game against bloody Charlton, not just play an odd FA Cup game or get 10 minutes in a bloody Premier League game. Consistent games, even if it is the league below. And I feel that is better for a player.
But Danny, do you feel like that applies to every youth that we've got in a team, or do you think that there's a couple there that maybe should stick around and fight? I mean, me personally, with players like Gray are a bit too advanced to go out on loan. I feel like learning from Paulinho and fighting for position in that CDM spot, should we play that spot, I feel like could maybe benefit a bit more than going out to a lower league team and playing week in, week out. I mean, like I said, my question is, do you feel like that applies to every one of our youth players?
Yes, because I haven't seen one that's given me anything to say that they're good enough to even get in our team for a League Cup game, basically.
Berghout at the very least.
Yeah, but I think that one goes without saying. Yeah, that's just common sense. He hasn't even been mentioned. He gets in that team. It's just, well, give me one of those players that you've seen has got the standards that you think you would want them actually in your first 11 in any game of any sort of importance, unless it was 10 minutes, 15 minutes left and we was 4-1 up.
I think the players that we're talking about, I feel like they might, a lot of them would belong in a Carabao Cup team quite happily. I think.
Yeah, I think we're great. I think we're great, Dan. I do agree with you. If he played let's say we loaned him to maybe one of the teams that's been promoted to the Premier League, played every week, it would be better for his personal development for sure. Because obviously, if he's playing every week, that
one's just more of an opinion from me.
No, I agree with that. But what I think the club will probably think with Gray is that actually, particularly if you get some injuries, he's a decent squad option to have because he's versatile and he's homegrown. So I think for them, they'll think.
I get the point on that one.
He's to a level, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. I think he's obviously a lot further on than the likes of Donnelly and some of the others that we were.
But doesn't that show you that our youth academy ain't that great then? If we've got this World Cup winning youth academy team, again, like a lot of people go on for, and then people slate you, you're ripping into the younger players, let them develop. Yes, let them bloody develop then. Send them somewhere to develop. Don't just stick them in the bloody locker or down in the cellar. And then every time Levy says something, open your cellar door so they can bloody come out. Then go and let them develop as players. Let them become players. I mean, people preach on about we've got this excellent youth academy. It's won this, it's won this, it's done that. Yet not one of them can get through into our team over Archie bloody Gray. You even said it perfect earlier when you said we got defenders there that couldn't even get a defensive position there for a player who had never even played in the Premier League and goes and gets the defensive place and he's even totally out of position.
Don't you look at
me, that just shows it. There's something not good enough there yet. I'm not saying there can't be, but at this moment in time, no.
Don't you look at the level that they've gone to as well? Like when we've got people saying, "Oh, we should have kept Donnelly," he's gone to Stoke. Like, no offense, but Stoke are a bottom half Championship football team. Like, it's not like we've gone, "Oh, he's gone to." I mean, who's the favourite? Who went down?
Alex Phillips went there as well.
Leicester.
Phillips went there as well.
Yeah, but who went down?
Leicester, Ipswich.
Right. He's not gone to Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, right? He's not gone to one of them and going, right, he's going to be the mate. He's gone to Stoke. You look at
The other thing I'll say is we've got two of our ex-coaches at Birmingham and West Brom, right? Who are two of them, and neither of them wanted any of these kids. I think people forget that, and they saw them all the time in training, and they haven't come back in for these kids. I mean, the other thing I would say is with some of these kids, we just need to get a bit more ruthless and just, like with Ashley Phillips now, he's gone out to loan on to Stoke again. Just sell him at this point. It's different with the likes of Donnelly and Moore, who with Morris his first loan, with Donnelly he's had one successful loan and he's young enough and he's club trained, etc., etc. And so let's give him another chance. He's stepping up in the league. But some of them just get rid at this point as well. They're not going to make it. And, maybe you'll make a mistake, but the chance of that happening, I think, is slim.
But it's like, sorry, by the way, I was just getting excited. My missus has just made me a hot chocolate. It's the first time I'm trying it from Ben. Ben brought it round, didn't you? Yes, I'm about to try it.
It's very nice.
But yeah, look, it's like people will go, "Oh, I'd rather Lancashire than so-and-so." And I'm not knocking Lancashire, but Lancashire went on loan at West Brom, couldn't get a game. So he's gone down to West Brom and they've gone, no, this guy's not good enough, right, to play in our first team. And we've got people who are going, I think he should be in the Spurs first team in a Champions League season. Connor, you were bang on, right? Trust me, as somebody who's worked in youth football, right? I love nothing more than a success story. I love nothing more than a Harry Kane coming through. I love nothing more than I love nothing more than seeing the young players at whatever club coming through. I think it's great. I think it was great Declan Rice came through at West Ham. What a success story, right? But the romantic side of this, the romanticism versus the actual ability of these young players, fans seem to get lopsided because it's emotion versus truth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at any of them that have gone on loan. Any of them. Like, look at how people are talking about Vuskovic. Can't believe he's going on loan. Why? You've not seen anything yet. If Vuskovic is this brilliant centre-half that everyone says he is, go on loan to a top championship club and be in the team of the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're that good, go be in the team of the year to the point where Spurs go, we've got to bring it, like he's got to come back in Christmas. But we want them to come into our first team before they've done anything. Lubo and I have rowed about this all year. Talk to me about Keeley. Keeley's gone to Luton for £1 million. Right? Why? If Keeley was that good, why has not even a championship team come in for Josh Keeley at £5 million? Donnelly, he's ready for the first team. Why is Stoke the highest level we've managed to get him then on a championship loan? And I'm not saying they won't go on to have good careers. I'm not saying they can't, but I just think we're too needy for these young players to work out. And now everything's being put on Frank because he's a coach that apparently he's got to make every single young player turn into Gareth Bale. It's just ridiculous.
I personally, Stoke is a good move for Jamie Donnelly. It's a very good move for him. I think that is a club that will make him a man. I know it's a laugh. Could Messi do it in a cold night in Stoke? Jamie Donnelly's going to be doing it in a cold night in Stoke for 6 months of the next year. That will make him a man. That will make him a man. That's where I want Jamie Donnelly to be. Learn a bit of adversity, make him a man. I think this is ridiculous, by the way.
It's breaking news.
Yeah.
If Everton go in and get a player, listen, I know it says here that it's not guaranteed to materialise. But
At least they're
if
having a go.
Everton give it a go and try and get Jack Grealish, right? I'm embarrassed to be Spurs. I'm embarrassed if we're letting a player like this who could be on loan. This is sorry guys, maybe I'm overreacting, but how are we not in for this type of loan deal?
Everton have done some decent business this summer though. If they get this one over the line as well, you know, I think
Agreed.
it's amazing what can happen when you change your owners.
Mad. Anyone thoughts on this? Grealish, Everton. I mean, it's good. Good for them, right?
I mean, hold on. There's got to be a reason as to why.
think-
Surely. I mean, why is he not being linked with bigger clubs than Everton? There's got to be a reason. There's got to be something.
Yeah,
there.
that's his
we
wages.
don't know about.
Everton are quite a big club. Everton are a big club. They've just underperforming for many, many years because, as Connor said, poor ownership. Everton are a massive club.
They're
Everton
similar
are-
to Spurs. Everton used to be bigger than Liverpool at one stage.
They are the same side. They've won 9 league titles, Everton.
Yeah.
People forget that. They've won 9 league titles.
They was actually quite a massive club at one point. I mean, at one point, it was a bit of a, if I say neck and neck sort of thing, but at one point, they was like up there with Liverpool, basically, and then Liverpool just
Pre-Shankly, they were bigger than Liverpool, yeah. Pre what Shankly did at Liverpool.
At one time, Everton possibly even bigger at one point, but this is going back many generations, yeah. And if you look at league titles and that, they walk all over us, hands down, of what they've won. Like you just said, Ben, 9. But in that aspect, again, Grealish, why haven't we gone for him? I think there's a lot of clubs that would have had him, but it's his wages that are going to hold a lot of things back. But we should be able to pay those wages. Basically, with where we've just got rid of Son and other players, we've got that excess money, I think, that we could afford his wages, or at least offer to pay 75% and might get a deal out of it. But again, it's another player that you'll have a massive argument on the fan base about, not that that should even come into it, of who thinks he's good enough, who thinks he isn't. With what I see up front at the moment, I think he'd be a very good player for us. And a week ago, he's definitely one I'd snap up. I'd still snap him up now. But now I sort of look at him and think, is he the sort of player we need up there? Because by the look of it, we actually need someone who can bang in goals from like centre, left and right now. And that's not his strongest point. But then would he be the one who's able to get the ball up there, hold it for us and basically get the ball across or gets the foul, gets the free kick?
Yeah, I mean,
if you want to play that late, it'd be perfect. I think it'd be a bit of a no-brainer to go for him.
You need both in the team, don't you? You can't, at the moment, all of other than Kudus, everybody's a reactionary player. At the moment, everyone that we've got is very much get the ball, dribble, do loads of stuff. And I keep saying this, the ball keeps bouncing back to us.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying with him, where he'd be ideal, basically. But if we want someone there to just bang in goals, he's not your man. But I personally think for the way we would play, he would be a good idea.
I think as well, people are forgetting that wasn't his role at City. That doesn't mean that can't be his role at Tottenham. I think we forget that. Everyone goes, oh, look at his GA there. Played a very different role at Man City. At Man City, they had De Bruyne scoring the goals. Right?
He was a target man.
They had Haaland. This is the guy that links up play for Man City in their team. When he was at Villa, he was a maverick. Everything went through him. I just think I've said this for months. This for me is a no-brainer. On loan, on a year loan, City will pay 200 grand of his wages. You pay the other 100 grand. Jack, come join Tottenham. World Cup year. Show the world why you should be in that World Cup squad next year. 1 year loan. If Everton can go for that, I'm sorry. If Everton can go for that, Villa can go for people like Evan Gussan. What are we doing? Who are we after? Elliot. Everyone knocking my mate Elliot. RB Leipzig want him. And look how good RB Leipzig are when they scout footballers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jurgen Klopp wants him as the head of Red Bull.
But not good enough for Spurs fans. It's honestly, we are so bad in this market that it's filtering down into the fans. I'm telling you, we accept such mediocrity. I'm just furious with this club.
But then instead of getting Grealish, people would fight to give some of those to give Mikey Moore a go. They would literally fight to get Mikey Moore in there tooth and nail when he is blatantly not ready. Okay, when I saw him play.
He's a child.
Exactly. He's not ready.
And again, like you, Dan, I'm delighted. Like I'm delighted for Jamie that he's gone to Stoke. I'm delighted for Mikey Moore that he's gone to Rangers because, again, that league will make him a man freezing cold nights, terrible pitches. If he gets to play in an old firm derby, what greater education would it be about football for Mikey Moore if he plays in an old firm derby, one of the biggest derbies on the planet?
Exactly.
It'd be fantastic for him.
Where's he going to get that experience in the academy? And yeah, I just feel we would fight harder at Spurs as a fan base in general, because we want this little happy story to come through, add a bit of chivalry to it and everything else and that for the young players. That we want them to come through and succeed. Of course we do, but we got to think about now. We got to think about what he's ready for now. We have got a bloody Champions League coming up. And the fact that people would fight harder and get the ump more that Mikey Moore is not here and then slate off that we shouldn't be going for Jack Grealish, well, then that just about shows some people's standards as far as I'm concerned, what they actually want the club to achieve or not achieve, should I say. Because in a big game, if we're in, say, if any Champions League game is a big game, but we're in that game that can get us out of that can get us in that top 8 or whatever, basically, and get us into the next stage. We need that one game. We need to win. Who do you want starting on that pitch, Mikey Moore or Grealish? And I bet you most of the people who would fight for Mikey Moore would even still sit here and say Grealish.
It's the romance, Dan. As you just said, we'd rather that there's a story attached to it rather than just being ruthless and going out and getting ready made. Mm-hmm. So when you suggest Grealish, I'd rather develop Tell. Why? Why do we care about that? What as fans, why do we really care about that? I don't see Man City fans doing this. I don't see Chelsea fans doing this. Right? I don't see Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans right now are going, go and get Rodrigo. I'm not seeing them say, oh, no, don't get Rodrigo. We'll develop Waneri instead. They want the big player in. Go and get the big player. Spurs, honestly, this fan base, I'm telling you, not all of it. I'll just go 50-50 just to be fair. It's just crazy. It's crazy. We belittle everyone. Elliott now linked to Leipzig. Grealish now linked to Everton. Gassan's gone to Aston Villa. Right? Sesko's gone to Man United. Who is it that we're getting exactly? We keep saying the window's not shut. Benji's telling me to wait till the last week. Who are these players? They're all getting snapped up.
It's not looking very promising, is it? And
no.
Again, when you look at it like that, yeah, I've got the attitude. Let's just see what happens at the end of the window. But the reason I've got that attitude is just because I've accepted how Spurs work. I don't agree with it.
Energy for it anymore.
Yeah, basically, I've accepted it. I shouldn't have, but it is what it is. Basically, just get on with it, sort of thing. But it doesn't mean you got to sit here and agree with it. Basically, I don't agree with it. No. But as Spurs, did we really expect anything different? I just think that Kudus and then Morgan Gibbs-White just hyped us up a bit, basically.
Yeah,
and it's got understandable reasons why, and then we've just sort of been pushed off the edge again and sitting on our ass on the floor again. And if we're going to be realistically, there's a good chance we won't see anything until towards the end of the season. As long as we get those players, end of the season, end of the transfer window, as long as those players are there by the start of the season, I'll be happy enough. Will I agree with how it's been done? No, but I'll be happy enough. But at the moment, with the players getting taken out, I'm like, well, Harvey Elliott was another one that I said I wouldn't say no to that. And again, I see at least 50% of the fan base, he's not good enough for Spurs. Are you telling me Harvey Elliott is not better than Archie Gray? Are you telling me he can't go and give Basuma a run for his money the way Basuma has played over previous time? And people know I rate Basuma because not one of those midfielders that we have would even be fit enough for Liverpool's subs bench. Unless you take Paulinho into it. Tell me one of those players that even gets into it.
Can I show you? This is what Romano said. This is going to flash up very quickly, guys, because this is video. Ready? This is what Romano said. Right, so I know that's but that's how you know a story's on, right? Ornstein's now said it, Romano's now said it. That's how you know a story's on. So when I'm seeing things like this, if the British story is true, it'll be on Sky Sports.
Sky Sports pick up stuff from Ornstein and Romano about 3 days later normally. So
Ornstein's the guy, I think realistically.
For me, with Grealish, Sav, we had this discussion before Maddison got injured, and my worry with Grealish was I didn't necessarily want him as the Son replacement because I really think we need to do a huge marquee signing who contributes a huge amount of goals and assists for that. But now with Maddison injured, it's a complete no-brainer for me because he can play where Maddison plays, which is where he played a lot for Villa. I know he's done it, Leicester City, or out on the left. So you've got two options anyway. He's got experience like Maddison. He does that Maddison thing of winning a lot of free kicks as well, and being able to retain the ball, to your point, because I think the only player that we've got, particularly when Richarlison is playing instead of Solanke, is Kudus, who's able to actually retain the ball. And not let it get turned over quickly. So yeah, I mean, it's a complete no-brainer. But as always with Tottenham, the one I can see us signing, which I disagree with, I reckon we're going to get that El Canoes from Leicester.
Mate, he's got Spurs written all over it. The trifecta, Connor. And by the way, I've got to do some super chats before we move on, guys. But it's the trifecta: relegation release clause, young, cheap wages. Sorry,
there we go.
Small transfer fee, right? It's the trifecta of Daniel Levy. And by the way, I'm not saying El Canoes isn't a good player. But again, it's another one where you go, we could buy this if we weren't in. We could buy this player even if we weren't in Europe. We're in Champions League. Like, that's got to be the difference. I look at Tells, I look at Odebers, I look at these players, Takais, Dansos, Canoes. Those players we should be buying if we're not in any European football at all and we've got, I don't know, a budget of 70 million for the year. We're in the Champions League. Surely this will be the window where we don't look at those footballers. Let me get to some super chats, guys. By the way, this hot chocolate is banging, Ben. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, Joe.
Absolutely gorgeous it is. Yeah, my hot chocolate mug, Mr. Right, of course. Big up to this is Paul Watkins. Thank you very much, Paul. And for all those asking me why, yeah, it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
Buy it. Cocoa collection.
All those asking me why the names are coming up like this on my channel, I don't know. I've asked ChatGPT.
It's YouTube. YouTube does it now and again. It just happens.
Yeah, it's YouTube have done it for me because I go onto other channels and they don't have this. So apologies. So big up to you two. Same old tiring. Yeah, big up to you, Paul. It is the same old stuff. And we've still got the Benjis out here making excuses for it, haven't we? Benji's got what he deserves. I agree with you. I agree. I know you didn't write that, but you were thinking it. Big up to you, Paul. Really appreciate that. Big up to Ian JD. He's been a member for 8 months now. Welcome. I say welcome. Thank you for your continued support. Said United finished 15th and have said never again and signed a whole new front line and given their manager time to bed them in. Mentality. Yeah, football club. Their mentality isn't, oh, wait till the last few days. Their mentality is, let's get them in. So for the first Premier League game, they've got that front three. I'm very, very jealous. Big up, Ian. Big up to my man, Martin Knightsbridge, who said, we've lost 67 GA. Can't see us replacing that yet. 67 GA we have lost.
Big up, Martin.
Big up to you, Martin. Absolutely, mate. You would think that somebody at the club would be going, hang on, are we not worried? Big up to you. Thank you, Martin. Big up to Marianne. Thank you very much with the Norwegian Corona, who said, things are so bad that I've stopped wearing my Spurs shirts other than at home. And I always wear football shirts. Hope is an all-time low. I don't ever wear football shirts. It's just me. I get told I'm a shit fan for it. First of all, I'm not giving Levy that money, but second of all, I just don't. But big up to you, Marianne.
I don't either, to be fair, Sav. I think an overweight man in a football shirt looks dreadful. You're not, I am. So, yeah, I'm not wearing one.
Big up to Craig Fenno, who said, Spursy, get players in 2 seasons too late as always. Mate, listen, yes. Daniel Levy could shut us all up. Go and get 3 really good players now. Add that to Paulinho and Kudus, and we all sit here and for a whole year, no one can blame Levy. Right now, this is going to be a whole season of every time we don't do well, it's just going to be, well, Levy didn't back him. Levy didn't. It's just bloody nightmare, isn't it? Big up, Craig. Thank you for that. Big up to my man out there in America, SOF. How you doing, man? Said, hey, Sav. Hello. Hey to you as well. I was baffled listening to Gold last night. Say Spurs have plenty of wingers. Tell is ready because he has Champions League experience. Richie being fit is a positive. Mate, listen, I like Alistair Gold. I've always said this. I've always had a lot of time for Alistair Gold. I'm never going to slag anyone off who's another YouTuber or any of that kind of stuff. I think Alistair Gold has had a mare on that one, and that stunk to me of I'm in with the club. Because if any football fan, forget whether you're a YouTuber reporter, if any football fan is looking at Tell and Richie and these players and going, we've got enough up top, you're having a mare. You're having an absolute mare. But we'll talk about Richie and that in a minute. Big up to you. Thank you very much, SOF. Really appreciate that. And big up to Maz. How you doing, Maz? Long time no see. Said, good show. Dan is on fire today, which is unusual because normally by now Dan is only just about waking up. So a big up to you, Maz. Thank you very much. Guys, girls, I don't know if any of you saw it last night. Alistair Gold, he got that video and he's talking about, he said, you know, if Richie can get fit, we've got a really good striker there, he said. And then that little 10-second clip, he's now just flying around. Guys, I mean, surely Richie is not, surely we're not doing this again, are we, with Richie?
A quick thing, Savva, on one of your things that got said. On the Man U part, I mean, I said to everybody that this cup final is irrelevant to Man U to an extent. It's another one that goes on there. Yeah, fine, nice. But it didn't matter whether they won it or lost it. They were still going to get players in and they were still going to claw their way back up there. And it does make you think that we desperately needed that for more than one reason. We've gone and got that and got in the Champions League. And this is what we've done. If we wouldn't have got that, okay, you can all say ifs, buts and maybes, but if we wouldn't have got that, where would we have been now? My point is that whole game to Man U was irrelevant. You was not going to hold them back. It was just a Europa Cup to them. Look at what they've got. They'd have liked to win it, but one way or another, whether they won it or not, it wasn't going to stop them back from trying to claw their way back up there. Whereas with us, we go and win it, and it just doesn't even look like we're trying to claw our way back up there. Yes, we got a manager in. I do think one of the main reasons we got him in was to basically improve the team we got, basically. But the point I was making is, Savva, is that game to Man U, it didn't matter whether they won it or lost it. They were still going to find a way to claw their way back up there. They are still in the top two biggest teams in the world.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. And obviously they've got owners that are ambitious and they don't want to finish 15th again. So they're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I think the thing with us is, I think historically when we've got Champions League, our windows have actually been even worse. Which is this ridiculous. Correct. You know, you've only got to look over the Poch era where the net spend was, as I said earlier, 70 million over that 5 years. You know, because I think in Levy's head, he probably thinks, oh, we got there. So, you know, the squad must be in a good enough position. And you know, as I said earlier, we've got this golden ticket this year, right? Whereby we've got 70, 80 million coming in from the Champions League, which they couldn't have anticipated coming in given the league form. You know, it was obviously via the Europa, and it was a hope that would have happened, a golden ticket, and still they're not making the most of it. I mean, I feel like we'll be having this same conversation next summer, the summer after, the summer after, the summer after. We had it 10 years ago. Oh, surely we're going to kick on now. Surely we're going to do. It's the same thing every window, and this is a complete difference in how we operate to everyone else, isn't it?
We couldn't have been given a better get-out clause if we'd have paid for it, basically. 100%. That get-out clause, I mean, tell me another team that's done that before. Please do. Like
Arsenal, when they bought themselves into the Football League in the 1950s, which cost Spurs their top division.
If you want to go back that far, sort of thing, it wasn't even called the Europa Cup then, was it? My point is, another team that has managed to. The only reason it didn't get relegated is because the three teams below it was that absolute crap that they'd have probably struggled in the Championship. But okay, still clear of the relegation bit by 10 points, whatever it was at the end. But we got a bloody Champions League place in it. We got the money in it for it and everything and that to give us that little bit of excess. You couldn't have had a better get-out clause if you tried. And we still seem to just do nothing on it. Okay, it looked that bad. And a lot of it was... Players were part of it, but the majority of it was down to the manager and the way we played. But still, shouldn't that be a big enough scare? 17th. Shit, we're in a bit of trouble here. Right, we got to get ourselves back together for the new manager, give him what we can, whatever, and get a Champions League place out of it. And still, we've bought a player for the first team and loaned a player for the first team.
Yeah, but Dan, to be fair, right, let's just look at this differently. That season, finishing 17th. Let's be honest, mate. No, hold on a second.
Here he goes. Here he goes. Let me get you.
I'm trying to think level-headed here, right? Look, that season was a freak. Okay, it was a freak. The team wasn't managed very well, so I really don't want to put it into that category of we need to spend a bajillion pounds to bring in every this, that, and the other. Because realistically, that season will never happen again for Tottenham Hotspurs. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there now. I was just sitting here thinking, as a Spurs fan, and all right, we're a wealthy club, we're well known, but how many each season, each transfer window, players do you want to come in to go straight into our first team? Because I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, yeah, it was a freak season, but at the same time, we've already brought in 2 players that go straight into our first team, and that is Paulinho and Kudus. And we've still got a lot of the transfer window to go. Not to mention the fact,
no, we don't.
That
we don't have a lot of the transfer window to go, Ben.
What is it? 3 weeks, isn't it? Is it 3 weeks or 4?
Yeah, but that's when we do most of our business. So really and truly, and I've just looked online. Remember, I said to you like ages ago. I said, look, there's a lot of quality players that've got 12 months left on their contract. I'm telling you now, there will be a big influx. I mean, I think the only thing as well that's caused us problems is our squad is massively bloated at the minute. We do need to trim that down, but obviously,
yes.
But Ben. So I'm going to question this. Sorry, listen. I love it when people. I love this. This is what.
Be gentle, Sav.
No. But this is what it's all about.
I'm trying to.
Okay, sure. So let me ask you this question then. So let's go back to the original title of this show, where it says embarrassing Spurs are doing fuck all while United build a 200 million forward line. Man United, if I'm not wrong, somebody will add some names here to this. Man United still own Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Garnacho, Højlund, Xerxes, and Anthony. Right?
Diallo.
They've got Diallo, who's also a forward player as well. So they've got 7 forwards there. Yes, Rashford has gone on loan, but not been sold. Right? If Man United, who I'm told, oh my God, if they spend money, they're going bust. They're PSR. They're in dreadful trouble. If Man United can go, all right, we've got a bloated squad, but I'll tell you what, let's go and spend 200 million on a strike force. But why does that rule not apply to Tottenham? Why have we got a bloated squad and we have to wait until we sell players to get them in? Why is it one rule for them and not for us?
We're not Man United.
No, that's not. But that's not. Yes, we're not Man United, but Savva is a huge bedwetter. I only did it once. I shouldn't have told everyone I did it once, because now everyone thinks I wet my bed all the time. But you got to feel for my wife when I wet the bed, don't you? Poor her. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for subscribing to say that. He's had to subscribe to say that. Big up to you, my man. Thank you. But it begs the question. Yes, we've got a big squad, but why can't we go and say, right, sod what we've got. Let's go and get, I'm just going to pluck names. We're going to go and sign Wissa. I'm not even going to go mental here, by the way. Go and get Wissa. Go and get Harvey Elliott. Go and get Jack Grealish. Then afterwards, we turn around and go, Solomon, sorry, mate. You're not going to be in the squad. Find a club. Basuma, you're not going to be in the club in the squad. Find a club. Richie, I've got Wissa, mate. Sorry. That's what Man U have essentially done. Right there. Man U have essentially told most of those players, you're not needed. Go and find a club. Then that makes their agent go, yeah, right, I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to get on the phone. My client's available. My client's available. My client's available. But Spurs, we're still sitting there going, Basuma. Can't bring in a midfielder because Basuma's there. Why? Chelsea have got 9,000 footballers. Why?
Because it's not sustainable, Sam.
But what does that mean?
That would be the excuse, wouldn't it?
We're in no financial trouble in any way, shape, or form, as far as I'm aware, right?
Nope.
Aston Villa, who I was told are going into liquidation, I of course, over-egged that. But Aston Villa have just signed a player, stay 29 million, right? I would have loved Spurs to have signed Evan Guissan as an option. I would have loved that. Aston Villa, who apparently need to sell people to make it work, they've just gone and strengthened. Now, yeah, they might now sell Watkins, but I don't know. But Ben, we've got to stop this, right? We've got to stop this saying that the window's still not shut. We are a champion.
I'm only saying that because we do our best work towards the end, and we all know that. I don't know what we're expecting.
Tell me what good work we've done towards the end of a window. I'll wait.
Historically, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, that we have
Go
done
on.
our best work towards the end of the window. And you're going to ask me for names now, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
No, I
Because
mean-
come on, panel. Hang on, Connor. Let's do this. In the last 5 years, good signings that we've made in the last week or two of a window. The obvious that springs to mind is going to be Kulu and Bentancur when they both came in on loan.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, one. No, sorry, Bentancur wasn't, was he? Bentancur and Kulu was the
Kulu's
double
done.
act
Yeah.
Porro.
that weren't wanted by Juve. Who else?
Porro was the end of the January window, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Only after we'd
And-
fought for him
and look
all
how
over
bad
the
he-
window,
look how bad he
basically.
Look how bad he was.
I like Porro though, Sav. I like Porro.
Oh,
But
No, hang on. No, you're not. No, people don't understand what I'm saying. It's not. Let me caveat that very quickly. It's not what Porro is now. It was when he first
what
came
he
in.
was
We
in
chucked
that
him
season,
straight
yeah,
in,
I
and it was a
get- yeah,
mess.
I
The
get
club
your
was a
point, I get
mess,
your
right?
point, I get your point.
So, what, Solanke last year? Look how that worked out. Everyone started crying. Oh, he hasn't had any time. Year before that,
Do you know the one
Brendan
time they
Johnson.
changed tact a little bit, Savva, to support your point, was in Angie's first window, and they got Maddison and Vicario were in early doors. Van der Ven was pretty early as well. I think Ben is right that Tottenham generally tried to do. I think it's something like over Enix ownership. 44% of our signings have happened in August, right? Which obviously
They dragged out Van der Ven as well.
It's a bargaining tool as well,
No,
is what it
it's
is. It's a case of, oh, look, people aren't coming in.
But this is, I think, fans have just become so like because we've had 25 years of this shit. We just it beats you down. It's a bit like being in a domestic abuse relationship.
But Connor,
right?
can you blame
The
them?
way
This is
you-
why I
That's right.
sympathise.
Yeah.
Can you blame them though?
The way we go and do our shopping is like there's a sale up Blue Water. You go for a sale up Blue Water, you got to go up there ready for a punch up, basically, because you got to jump in there to grab what's out there for sale because there's good things out there for sale. But we don't go up there on the sales day. We go up there 5 days later when literally everything's been ripped apart. You can barely walk through the shop because it's such a mess where it's been ripped up. And we pick up the crap pair of jeans that have been left on the side that are 2 sizes too big for us. That is exactly how Spurs do their shopping. We go and get the very, very leftovers most of the time towards the end. And it is very rare to go up there on that sale and fight for it. Yeah. We really don't. And okay. On the last day of the window, whatever else and that, yeah, something special might pop up, something really good might pop up. But what are the chances of it? I think you've got just as much chance of doing the bloody lottery. And we just seem to wait.
We're hoping for a Van der Vaart moment, aren't we? We're
exactly.
For a
And it's
Van der Vaart
coming as well.
moment.
I mean, you look at Van der Ven. I mean, you mentioned Van der Ven earlier. We didn't exactly get that deal done sharp. That was when I first started YouTubing, and that was when we was having debates about where is Van der Ven now? Why isn't it getting done? Are we going?
But you know why Van der Ven wasn't? You know, I'll stick up for the club on this one. Van der Ven, Spurs had it done, but Wolfsburg wouldn't allow him to come until they had signed a replacement.
That was it. Yeah. Okay. Fair play. I'll back down from that one.
That's why you don't wait till the last few weeks of a transfer window. Right. That's why when we go and put in bids for Mark Guehi with 2 days of the January window to go, Crystal Palace are going to go, fuck off. What you want us to sell our player when we've got 48 hours to go and sign a player and get a medical done? And guys, look, Connor, I think I heard out of your mouth there before you were interrupted, Stockholm syndrome. I'm pretty sure I heard that come out of your mouth.
It is, mate. And look, I think, look, I don't think Ben, you're not defending this strategy by the club.
No,
by
no,
any
I'm not.
means. I
Thank you.
think
Thank
you're
you.
just saying that's the reality of the situation, and I think this is the problem with our fans. We've had 25 years of this shit, and I think it's just broken fans down to the extent that we now accept mediocrity and we accept the excuses because we're just like, oh, do you know what? This is the reality of the situation when it absolutely shouldn't be.
That's what I'm saying. I don't blame fans. That's right. That's exactly what I'm.
Yeah, I think when we get people talk about, I hear some of the sympathisers or excuses when you hear people sort of play us down as a club. In terms of the size we are, we're an absolute beast of a football club if we had the right owners. And they deserve some credit because they've contributed to that in terms of getting, the revenues to where they are today, and they'll walk off into the sunset with their $3.5 billion. So let's not get the violins out for them too much.
Are we like when you see those they do those bride sales You know, they do those when they're all queuing up outside because they're having a sale for a day where everything's 50%. We're like the bride that's at the back of the queue going, I don't mind. We'll see what's left in 2 hours. The Man U's and the Man City's, they're at the front of the queue going, sod that. I am first through that door and I am getting that best dress, right? That is what Tottenham are. And I get it. I get Ben's point. I pull his, I like that he's got a different stance. I like that. I don't want people agreeing. I get his point. And this is how Spurs act. But Connor, for me, I think the comment I've just seen is that he's spot on is this. Just because we've done it badly for the previous 24 doesn't mean we have to accept it for the 25th. And if Tottenham had anything about them, when Kudus came in, we would have followed that up. In the next 2-3 weeks before we went to Asia, before Kudus came in, we would have followed that up with a striker, a left winger. Paulinho would have been... Paulinho's been sitting there. Why do we have to wait till our tour is basically finished to get... surely we can move and make things happen. Surely, like everyone keeps saying, you don't know what's happening. No, we don't know what's happening. But because we don't know what's happening, we're all sitting here going, well, do they care? Are they bothered? Now, they might shut us up, guys. They might shut us up. In the next
I still
48
think
hours,
they can't completely shut us up, to be honest, because it's already too late, I think, to be fair. But
No,
yeah,
I
I take
agree.
your point, obviously.
I agree. But like, for example, Spurs could go in right now. If Spurs signed by the end of this week, Wissa and Eze, right? I'm going to sit there and go, I'm comfortable with that as a window. Wissa, Eze, Kudus, Pauli, I'm comfortable. But if we don't and we go and get an El Canus, some of our fan base, this is where the Stockholm Syndrome comes in, Connor. They'll lose their mind. And what they do is they convince themselves that this is right. They convince themselves that I love this player. I really want this player. This is our target. This is the guy that changes things. Yet at the beginning of the window, when you're asking who do you want, no one's mentioning
Spurs
him.
could be linked with me. Spurs could be linked with me as a left winger, and there would be fans on Twitter that convince themselves that I'd be a decent option.
That will
As an
justify
I'd
it.
love to see your YouTube
Yes.
reel, to be honest. I'd love to see your YouTube reel. Yeah.
But you know,
that's-
this is it.
It's like when we get seen looking at a player, let's just say a lot of people haven't heard of. A lot of people will have, because not everyone just watches the Premier League, but there's been many a time when a player has been looked at, straight away people turn around and say, oh, he's not good enough, never heard of him. Yes, that's only because you don't watch other leagues apart from the Premier League. I'm not saying that's bad. If the other leagues don't do it for you, fine. But then that gives you a lack of knowledge about what goes on around the world. And then you'll go and get the others that check up a YouTube channel. Oh, look, he's excellent. Look, if us four had a kickabout, give me an hour messing about, and I'll make that look like a good kickabout we've had to put on YouTube. It's quite easily done. As all you got to do is a split-second pass or a split-second this, and cut it up onto YouTube, and you can make a bang average player look like a world-class player. It's not hard to be done. And a lot of the people, again, when we go for certain players, straight away it's a no-go because I haven't heard of him in the Premier League.
Yeah, I completely agree. And look, there's a few comments where people are saying, you know, that we shouldn't accept that. To be clear, I completely agree, and you know that's why I'm one of the biggest voices in terms of wanting ENIC out and criticising them on everything. And I desperately want a change of ownership because I completely agree we shouldn't accept it. I'm just giving the perspective that some fans have started to just accept it because they've just lost energy for it, to be honest. And you know that's fair enough because it breaks you down, doesn't it?
It's back to that point though of where you'll get people up there for a protest. Fine, brilliant, do the protest, whatever, and that. Fighting ENIC out, can't stand the way and whatever. But we'll then be screaming for our youth, like I said at the start, why are we putting our youth academy out? But then also complaining that we ain't buying no big players, but then also bigging up the bang average crap that we go and get in there and trying to justify it and that. And again, it goes back to this fan base. It's very contradicting on itself.
Yeah, but by the way, somebody in the chat just now said, Savva, you're trying to predict things that people will say that haven't been said already. Oh, I've seen them. You have to understand, right? Being a Spurs YouTuber, I get sent so much. Like, honestly, if Spurs right now are linked with, let me just pluck a player out that we're not linked with. If Spurs right now were linked with Yuri Tielemans, So some report like Give Me Sport or Love Football says it, right? And it means nothing. I know within the hour, 20 people have sent me the same fucking thing, right? And I'm sitting there going, ding, ding. And then when I look at my gallery, it's like the same picture 20 times, right? I'm not complaining, by the way. I love talking football. But what I also know is within the hour, I can go on to certain people and they've made a video trying to explain in a tactics board why this person is perfect for Tottenham, why this person is brilliant. And I see it all the time. And the problem is, that's fine. If you do that, don't then complain when we don't get better players. If you're going to I don't make videos about why so-and-so is perfect for Frank Sis. I will make a video and go, really like this player, really don't like this player. And I will stand by that until they prove me wrong. I'm a grown adult. If I'm wrong, if Tell this year goes and bangs in 20 goals and I'm wrong, as a fan, I win, right? As a fan, I win. Oh, no, YouTuber gets football prediction wrong. Oh, no, end of the world. Jesus, can him. Get rid of his channel. But it doesn't work the other way. These people that make these videos, they did it last year. Odegaard will transform Spurs' attack. Last year, I don't remember the boy getting an assist, I think, in the entire campaign. If I'm right, I think he got maybe one assist in the entire campaign. But they made videos saying how he does this and he does that. We've got to calm down. Surely, as a fan base, we've got to be demanding better footballers.
Yeah, but why do you pay attention to that? Because you know it's nonsense.
No.
I just...
Ben, I'll tell you why. Because fans like me will get called negative for demanding more. Fans like me, I can guarantee when I stop this show, Dan will tell you, he's a YouTuber. Right? I can tell you when I stop this show, this video, this live stream, I'll probably end up getting about 300 comments after the fact. And it will be picking out little bits that I've said, and they'll go, you said this, you said that, you said. And some of it's nice. Some of it is probably telling me that they hope I die of AIDS or something like that. You know, it just is what it is. Right?
Lovely.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, it's really nice. I prefer to die in a house fire. I get that one quite a lot. Right? But I'll get loads of comments with people saying, sorry, you're just too negative. Sorry, but why don't you rate this? Sorry, but you're horrible about Tell. Sorry, but you don't rate Mikey Moore. You don't know football. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. If that is what you want, like Dan said just now, up there, like Dan said, if you want to see Mikey Moore on the left wing, if you want to see Archie Gray play centre mid, if you want to see Matisse Tell up front, why are we complaining about transfers?
No, but anyone with half a brain would know you are not too negative. I mean, anyone with half a brain. But I wouldn't pay attention to the people that say otherwise. You're not too negative. You're just sick and fucking tired of the way things have gone on at Tottenham. And
again,
it's good fun.
It's different people, different things. Some people just want to watch something where they only hear the positive sides of everything and that. And I can understand that. You don't want to hear the negative crap, whatever, because it runs you down and that. I get that. Fine. But then go and live out there as a unicorn if you want to. You know what I mean? Because if you just want to ignore all the problems and push them under the pillar, problems don't go away. Problems don't sort themselves out. You got to sort your problems out. Or do you just wait to the point where you got so many problems under there anymore that it comes to a situation where you don't want to bloody be here anymore? When it comes to being realistic with the situation we're in right now, just being realistic and just looking at it as a whole, realistic. Try not to be too positive. Try not to be too negative. Just try to be realistic. Right. We went out and got Kudus. Whether that happened just so quick because Liverpool, West Ham needed him out for the money, whatever, forget about it. We went and got him. Right, positive. We spoke about that very much so for a good few days after. Next thing you know, Morgan Gibbs-White. Yep, we're all hyped up. That's all we're talking about. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, still no Morgan Gibbs-White, and then it looks like everything's going tits up. It's getting closer and closer towards the end of the transfer window. Okay, if people are about too negative to this, well, then give me something bloody positive to talk about. Please do tell me. I'll pay attention to it and we will talk about it. If you just want to hear fairy tale life and everything else and that, then go watch bloody Game of Thrones, even though that'll probably do you damage as well. Go and watch something like that. Go and watch bloody Harry Potter or something. If you want to live in that sort of world, go to another channel and just go to a channel where they will just speak the positive. But then people will moan when they look at the pitch and we're not performing. And you're like, well, hang on a minute. You was grilling us for being negative before the season even started because it's just not turning out too great at the moment. But now you're complaining 10 games into the season that it's not looking right and we're not winning things. Yet we're the ones that's told to just be positive 24/7.
I agree. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, all of us are not like this in our normal lives outside of Spurs, right? I know I'm not. I'm an optimist in my real life, right? Outside of Spurs.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, you know, I demand more for this football club because I know that they can be so much more. You know, the reason why I spend time, you know, writing pieces on why the finances, we should be making more of them, etc., etc., or why we should be demanding more, is because I know we can do that more. And that, you know, that's not negative. That's just demanding more and wanting to see this football. You know, the best night of my football supporting life was being in Bilbao, hugging my dad at full time, celebrating winning a trophy. I want more of that, and I know that we can strive to at least have a go and achieve that. And that's why we're not negative. We just demand more. You know, what's the point otherwise? What's the point?
Do you think the key thing here, guys, is this? I saw this comment and I thought it was really good. By the way, I don't just bring up negative comments. I bet I can't find it now. So somebody put a comment and said they're all opportunistic signings, none that show ambition. And I think that's the key. Here we go. So Carl has said every signing is an opportunistic signing. None of them are ambitious.
That's so right.
Well, I agree. I agree, though. When you look at everyone we've gone and got, where is the signing where we've gone to a decent club and taken their best player, where it wasn't that they desperately needed money, or it wasn't that the player's contract was running out, or they haven't been relegated? Think about this really hard, guys, right? If we really think about this, right? Mohamed Kudus, West Ham needed money desperately. I love Kudus to sign him, by the way. I'm not knocking the club for that. But again, opportunistic. Yves Bissouma, 1 year on his contract, so he's 25 million. Would we have gone in at the time and spent 50 on him if he had 3 years left? No.
Well, and he had those charges potentially coming as well. That was there was also that context that collapsed the price. Yeah.
Solanke, right? I'm sorry. Richarlison. Forget what you think of the player. Richarlison. Everton were desperate for money. Everton were in all sorts of financial trouble, desperate for money, right? Look at all these players. I can go back. Van der Vaart. Van der Vaart wasn't an ambitious swoop from Tottenham. It was a deal that appeared on the last day of the deadline because Real Madrid agreed to let him go out because he wasn't needed. They had players like Wesley Sneijder, class footballer, by the way, if anyone remembers Wesley Sneijder. But who have we gone and got them? Because Benji, you said this isn't true. Who have we gone out and got that wasn't opportunistic, but was a good signing? Like for
Romero, Van der Ven, Solanke. I don't think any of them were opportunistic. I don't think.
Solanke did have a release clause, to be fair.
Did he really? I was unaware.
Yeah, he had a £65 million release clause, and we ended up negotiating the way. But yeah, I mean, Van der Ven
massively ambitious. Is Solanke massively ambitious? I think this is the point, Benji, right?
No.
Like none of the, I like Van der Ven, but when you're signing a 22-year-old centre half, you're not going. It's not like it's Bastoni when he was at Inter at 22, and we all going, "Oh my god!" There's no one. Let me give you an example. Like right now, if we went out to, let's have a look. If we went to, just trying to think of a good example here.
There aren't many.
So, for example, Sesko, that's an ambitious move.
Eze is a good example.
Eze is a good example. That's an ambitious move. Come in, be our best player. Boom, 70 million, done. That's ambition. They don't have to sell him, but we want him, right? When do we? People in the chat, join in. When do we do this?
It's the same with Van der Ven. Van der Ven, we went and basically got him, and we got the job done right, and that, yeah. When a lot of people didn't actually even really know who he was properly, because we went and got him because he had just had one good season. That was his first solid season. And then people tell me, no, he didn't. He had 2 or 3. Yeah, if you check the season before, I think he played about 5 games, 6 games. We went and got him with potential, because you can blatantly see there's potential there, but a lot of the time we seem to get potential wrong. And again, it was another player who was known by players, but universally, he wasn't established yet. Whereas now you look at Van der Ven, people know who he is. Before he came to us, very 50-50 on who actually knew who he was, because he'd only just had a great season, and he's a young player as well. And that was one where you can say we got it right. Basically, we took that chance with a young player who just had a very good season, who was known in the youth teams as such, in the international youth teams. Went and got him, and it's worked out. We go and get Solanke, a player that has had one good season in his entire career, and every season up to it, bang average at best. But then we'll still big that one up to the hill. At least the one where it comes to someone like Van der Ven, you can look at and say, right, he was 21, I think, when we got him, or just turning 21. He'd had a great season. And on the international side, there definitely looks like there's potential on that fella. Okay, I get it. You take the chance with that one. But then people just big up Solanke in the aspect of, we paid 65 million for him, for God's sake. And he's had one good season in what, 10 years he's been playing football, whatever it is, or 8 years, whatever it is. But again, we will still go and justify it. We are now at that stage where we shouldn't even be looking at Van der Ven's, who have had a solid season, look young, look potential. We should now be looking at players like Paulinho as such, who we can get in there, who get the job done now. Like Kudus, who we believe can get in there and get the job done now.
Am I right in thinking that Romero is the one guy that I would say was an ambition signing? Because he'd just come off the back of being the Serie A's one of the players
Defender of the year.
Yeah, that's Defender of the Year. Had he just won a trophy that season as well? Not for them, but internationally. Was it the season before or after he came to us?
I think Romero's a decent example, but I think at the same time, it's still one where you go, Atalanta did want to sell him outside of Serie A from memory, and you go, we were therefore, it was easy to get that deal over the line. But that's not a bad example. But yeah, I think to Savva's point, what we will never do is go and to another football club that really doesn't want to sell a player and make it happen by paying over the odds, for example.
Agreed.
That's where we lack that sort of real clinical a bit. Let's use Wirtz as an example, right? I think Wirtz is a fantastic player, but 127 million pound is a lot of money, right?
Yes.
Whatever way you look at that, I think Declan Rice from West Ham, right? When Arsenal signed him, again, I think he's a fantastic player, but 100 million pound was a lot of money for him. But Arsenal and Liverpool were both willing to do that and pay that top money, and maybe in some fans' eyes pay over the odds because of ambition, and that's what we will never do.
But they go for the player that has just had 2, 3, 4 solid seasons, and you know what? The risk isn't so big here now. Yeah, we go for the player that's had one good season, and that's a much bigger risk. At least with a younger player, when you do that, there's chance he can progress as such. When someone's already 28 or whatever and they've had one good season, you do seem to think like, well, how significantly more can he progress as such? Okay, we might squeeze another 4 or 5 goals out of him. How much better can we do? At least with Grealish, at least with name's gone off my head now, Declan Rice, you'd seen he'd done some solid seasons in the Premier League. 100 million? Okay, you'd look at it now and say he was worth it, but at the time, 100 million raised a few eyebrows, as it does. But they'd seen he'd had some solid seasons, more than capable of handling it in the Premier League. You know what? I think he's got what it takes to go up to another level and do it now. And other clubs do that, basically. With Wirtz at Liverpool, personally, I think that one's a much bigger gamble than Declan Rice, because they haven't even seen him perform in the Premier League yet. I think that's a massive gamble in that aspect. But again,
disagree on that one, Dan.
We've seen him have some solid seasons. Oh, I think he's quality as well, but I will judge him properly. I will judge him again by the end of next season. At least with Declan Rice, you'd actually seen him perform in the Premier League consistently. I personally think Wirtz is going to come over here and smash it, but I would say Wirtz was more of a gamble than Declan Rice.
I just love that these clubs do it, Dan, right? I think isn't that the point we're getting at? We love that, I think our fan base, what we do is, I had this debate with a fellow YouTuber this morning where people, the Sesko price is ridiculous. But, the difference between these clubs, big up to Brian, absolutely, mate, absolutely. The difference with these clubs is if they get it wrong, they go again the next year.
Well, this is it. We still talk about Ndombele, Sav.
We still talk about Ndombele.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Fuck, it does my head in. It's like, Arsenal got stung on Pepe. It didn't stop them then going.
What was he? 78 million as well.
Yeah, 78, something like that.
Do you know
round about that.
Whenever we're linked with, I saw it when we were linked with Calamundo, right, from France. straight away, there's no critical thinking. It's, oh, but we got Ndombele from France. But hang on. Look how many players come over from the French league every year. Like, what are we doing here? The French, if I'm not wrong, there's been more French players from other than English players in the Premier League to date. There's been, do you know what I mean? But we go, oh, we got stung on Ndombele. Every time we're linked to a Dutch player, oh, do you remember Vincent Janssen? It's like, these other clubs don't give a shit. Man United right now, all right, they paid big for Højlund. They're not sitting there going, oh, they can't get Sesko. Can't get Sesko because we paid for Højlund. They're going, didn't work out. Cool. Oh, by the way, Højlund's not going anywhere. Højlund could still develop. You don't know, right? But at the moment, they're going to go, right, it's not quite worked out. There's Sesko. And you know what, guys, little secret for you. Little secret. Don't tell anyone. If Sesko doesn't work out, they'll buy someone else and they'll go again. And this is what these clubs do. We go, like Richie. People go, oh, give him another chance. He's a good. How many years? How many years do you need to watch these footballers before you realise they're not good enough? But I don't mind the risk. Take the risk. And this is where I do agree with when Lubo says Daniel Levy is risk adverse in the transfer window.
So risk adverse.
So risk adverse. Because to Kai, there's no risk. 5 million. 5 million. You either sell him on, yeah, or he goes on a free and you've lost 5 million, right? Danso at, what was it, 20 million, 25 million, I think, all in all, right? Let's be fair. If you lose 25 million, you're probably going to sell him somewhere for 10, 15 million. It's a risk averse. But we did it once with Ndombele. Never again. Never again. These other clubs don't give a shit. These other clubs don't.
It all comes down to sustainability, and nothing will change until Levy is gone. That's the sad truth. Every
sustainability side, you're right, but it's not even so much that bit. It's the fact more of Levy. We are a sustainable club. I've said it over and over again. If you go and check up every club on this planet, we are one of maybe 4 clubs that can sustain itself without having to finish high in the league, without having to sell players, without having to win things, to keep our money record up there to be able to spend. We are one of maybe 4 teams on the planet that can do that. Chelsea can't even do that. But they've got their way of making their money, even if it don't go right for them in the cups. They've made all their money selling players out and everything, bringing the players in and winning cups. But even if they're not winning cups, they still have such a great way of making money by selling players, their young players and that. That's the way they do their income. We don't even need to do that. We are one of few that can sustain ourselves. But we don't do ourselves no favours. And it seems like every time we do spend over 50 million, we seem to get shot in the arse for it as well at the same time. So that's definitely telling you something, that someone's not doing the job right, or you need better people for that job. Definitely.
But that's where I thought something was changing. I think we all thought something was changing when we went from Kudu straight to Morgan Gibbs-White. That's when I thought it looks that way. This is the season. But the thing is, realistically, right now, if you had all 3 of them right now, if you had all 3, Morgan Gibbs-White, Kudus, and Paulinho, it's a new number 10. That's a new right winger that we desperately needed. You know, that's a number 6 that we have been crying out for. I'd be relatively happy right now.
Yeah, with that extra player there, yeah.
And Ben, I don't think we disagree, but I think I go back to my earlier point, but it didn't happen.
No, I know.
And there are other players that are better or on the same level as Morgan Gibbs-White all across world football. Spurs don't seem to have their finger on the pulse for any of them.
So who do you think's attainable right now for us? Just out of curiosity.
Harvey Elliott.
Do you put him on the same level as Gibbs-White?
Yes, I do. I just think the difference is the difference is here. You've got to remember. Let's look at these 2 factors. Morgan Gibbs-White has been the main man at a smaller club doing his thing, right? And this last year has skewed everyone into thinking Forest are bigger than they are, right?
Yeah.
Harvey Elliott went to Liverpool at the age of what, 17, 18?
Something like that, yeah.
16, whatever he was when he signed from Fulham, and has played, 170, 180 games for Liverpool Football Club, right? Winning titles. But the difference is Morgan Gibbs-White can go to Forest and be the main man. Harvey Elliott's not going to be the main man at Liverpool. They've got so many top footballers. I think Harvey Elliott's a wonderfully gifted technician. He's good with the ball. His passing's brilliant. His ball carrying is excellent. But even if he's not as good as Gibbs White yet, because he's younger, by the way, even if he's not as good yet, get him in. Give him the shirt. Go on, mate. You've got the stage now. You're not at Liverpool. You're at Spurs. You're in a smaller pond. Grab this opportunity and make it your own.
Yeah, that's a question. That's a quick question. What do you think is a better way of doing business? Buying a big fish from a small pond or a small fish from a big pond? So in terms of your Harvey Elliott coming from a bigger team like Liverpool, a more successful team like Liverpool, or a star player at a lower level club like United?
Either, depending on their age as such in that aspect for me. Now, well, not even necessarily depend. Either can work out quite nicely. Just because someone's, let's say, 27 and can't get into Liverpool's first team, that doesn't mean we're buying a Liverpool chuck out, whatever of that. Or if that happens with Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, whatever one else that you're buying a throwback of them. Okay, just because this is again where we go into this thing of the difference between world class, elite, quality, whatever. You go to somewhere like Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or Man City or Liverpool. Just because they don't make it there, it doesn't mean that they're not a quality player. It's just they're surrounded by better, which are world-class and elite players. Spurs don't have world-class or elite players.
Yeah, and it can
we have
depend on
ones who can do it on a day. So someone, just because they don't make it at Munich, look at the competition they've had. They come to Spurs, you'd think they really shouldn't even be looking over their shoulder, basically, because there's not exactly no one there of the same quality as Munich, Madrid, Liverpool, Man City, and other ones you can go for, PSG and stuff like that. But when you go for a younger player at a massive club like Liverpool, who has performed when he's been on that pitch and also managed to get on that pitch when not one of our midfield is even good enough to get in their subs bench, in my opinion, if you take Paulinho out of it, then that one's a bit of a no-brainer to take the chance, me, especially when it's only 30, 40 million. It's tuppence money, really.
And players can foul at these clubs just because they don't suit the particular system that manager decides to play. You know, there's always those examples. I mean, the ironic thing for us is I actually think, you know, on a slightly different tack, but I think sometimes our proven signings have been some of our worst signings. And, you know, if you look over the last couple of years, Basuma, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson,
prime example,
have not really lived up to expectations.
It's always a gamble, isn't it? Even if he's had 8 solid seasons, you still don't know for a fact how he's going to adapt at yours, do you?
Exactly. Whereas the likes of Van der Ven, you know, Romero, Bentancur, Kulusevski have been some of our better signings. So, like, you know, I always bang this drum of the fact that, you know, you asked the question a minute ago, Ben, about who's attainable for Tottenham. It should basically be any player that plays for any European team that isn't playing for who PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich don't want. Because we should be able to bully all of those clubs financially. And so if you had owners that were willing to do it and willing to pay the money and we pay the right wages and you show ambition, you show a proper project with ambition, there's no reason why any of those players we shouldn't be able to sign. Atlanta's a really good example. I always use Atalanta because, one, we've signed players from them before, but also they've got a lot of talent that you could go, you know, you got Edison before we signed Paolini, you got Scalvini, you got Lookman, you got CDK. I say that because I can't say his name properly. You know, and our revenue's 4 times theirs. So if we wanted to sign any of their players, we could.
By the way, Romano has just said that there's no advanced negotiations, but there was a call. There was a call in recent days from Tottenham to understand the situation of Jack Grealish. We'll add that one to the list. Monitoring, calling.
Bring that picture up, Sav. You've got to bring that picture up, please.
I'll bring it up. Here we go.
I sent this to him earlier, boys.
There we go.
That's how we roll, boys.
We watched, we shortlisted, we prioritized, we opened talks, we mentioned, interested, seduced, considered, admired, and targeted. It's Spursy, isn't it? It's Spurs in a nutshell. Like when we're saying right now, listen, again, I'm not just going to say, oh, Romano said it must be 100% true. But if there was a call in recent days, if he's saying in recent days, right, that would tie in with the James Maddison injury. Why isn't there any negotiation? Like, do you know what I mean? If there was a call, you must be interested. Why isn't there any advanced
Oh.
negotiations? Why isn't it, hey, is he available? Yeah, we could do this, but right, cool. Let's
How
get to
hard
the
is it?
table. Yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Why is
They
it so
they don't want to
difficult?
keep him. Man City want him to go as well, right? So it ain't
Yeah.
like you got to commit. I'm sure Grealish would come to us as well if given what other offers he's going to have on the table. So surely the call is we're willing to pay X% of his wages, or all of it, whatever it is. You move on. I mean, obviously he's on 300 grand a week, right? So that is an issue given what we know we're willing to pay. But if that is the case, you knew that before the phone call anyway. So just don't have the phone call if you're not willing to pay a high percentage of the wages. It's like, it's just so poor always. I mean, just back quickly to that point about sustainability and how we're sustainable. I mean, it's absolutely right. But the problem for us is we're more than sustainable, because not only do we use our club to sustain the football club, we're also using it to sustain the rest of the property empire and everything else. So it's the worst of all worlds for us, unfortunately.
By the way, Stu, see, for me, I think this is where you go and get both. If Tottenham are a proper Champions League football club, this is where you go and get both. You get Grealish on loan and you get Elliott in the door for 40-45 million. Now, all of a sudden, you've got options. You've got Elliott, you've got Grealish, you've got Kudus, right? You've got Kulu and Maddison when they come back. Suddenly, we look like a squad. This is the difference between us and, say, a Chelsea. Chelsea don't ask, not having a go at you, Stuart, but Chelsea don't ask who do you prefer, Barno Gittins or Garnacho or Xavi Simons or Cole Palmer. They go and get them all. They give themselves options. They give their manager headaches. At the moment, our manager's got no headache in terms of what I mean. He's got loads of headaches, but he hasn't got the headache of who do I play, him or him. It's very set in stone at Spurs right now, isn't it?
Yep.
We know our back four. We know our keeper. I think we know Bentancur and Paulinho will probably be the two as long as Bentancur stays. We know Kudus is your right winger. You know Solanke's your centre forward. The only question mark right now is who's your 10, because we don't have one, and who's your left winger out of Odegaard and Tell. We've got no headaches at the club. Is that fair, guys? Other than that, have I missed anything? Is there any headaches in the team selection?
No.
Fullback's the only minor one, isn't it?
Sure.
Depending on what you prefer. But I'm happy with that, by the way, because I think there's certain games you play Spence and there's certain games you play Udogie. That's good. But no, we should have headaches all over the pitch, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And it is the other thing as well with who we buy, where we go looking, what we can't get rid of. Again, I keep mentioning Serie A. A lot of the teams out there have made a lot of transfers, but when you actually go look at it, a lot of them, I'd say about half of them haven't technically even spent money. They've had income. I think it's only the top 3 or 4 that have actually spent over 40-45 million now, if you include their revenue that's income through selling players and everything. A lot of them haven't even spent money. Whereas you take one for Atalanta, for example. I'm just looking at it right here. With Atalanta, they've got loan players in there, and they've bought players, sold players and everything. And when it comes down to the crunch, they're actually up on themselves on money. They've basically took in 24 million and still managed to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transfers, but still have an overall income of 24. They haven't technically spent money. And a lot of Italian clubs have had to do this because the money is tight out there this year. Yeah, and I personally think we should have the power to go to a club like Atalanta that has technically overperformed over the few years in Serie A, and they have been brilliant, by the way, very good to watch. But by the size of their club, technically you can say they are overperforming. They're not even a third the size of the club we are. We should literally be able to go out there and say, Edison, we want you, basically. There's 50-60 million on the table. See how it goes from there. And we should be big enough to turn the player's head for that.
100%,
and the club itself.
They're like the Brighton of Italy, basically. Atalanta.
Yes, they are. They're a brilliant team.
And sell them on. So they're very happy to sell them as well when the time is right.
Yeah.
Even with Lookman, I know this business is going on at the moment. They will sell Lookman ultimately. They're just worried about selling him to a Serie A rival. If we were to go in for him, just as an example, they'd be very happy to do business with us to sell him for the right price. And as you say, we should absolutely be able to turn heads. Even with our shit wages, we can pay more than Atalanta do.
All day long.
Look at this, guys, right? So just to use your example, Dan, of how an Italian club works here. This is one of the biggest Italian clubs, right? This is AC Milan this summer, right? Now, again, AC Milan are not cash rich in any way, shape or form. This
Not
is
anymore.
not the AC Milan of old. This isn't the AC Milan that used to be able to compete against Madrid and Barcelona for players and City, right? But what they've done is, look how well they've sold. They've gone Reinders, Hernandez, Kalulu, Royale, where they've made their money, right? And they've made 100, I believe, if I scroll down, I think it was like 120 million euros worth of 108 euros of 108 million of sales. Look how well they've replaced without going big in any way, shape, or form. They have replaced Tijani Reinders with not only Luka Modric on a free, but Samuel Ritchie for 23 million euros. And the one that's not on here as of yet is Arden Jashari, who they've signed for 39 million euros. It goes to show you don't have to spend 80, 90 million pounds per player. You don't have to have the wealth of Chelsea, the wealth of Man City to go and do this. Look at this scouting. Samuel Ritchie gets in our team. Estepanan would be a great option for us to have as a left back, right? Jashari gets in our team. These clubs just work the market brilliantly without spending a lot of money. They're out there finding the deals. And again, give me another Italian team. Give me another Italian team that spends this window.
Sorry, can somebody explain to me? Can somebody explain to me how Theo Hernandez, one of, if not the best left back on the planet, went for 25 million to Al Hilal, wherever it was? 25 million for Theo Hernandez? How was that not made bigger?
Maybe his contract. I don't know.
Yeah, he's about.
He blatantly,
Is he the older one of the two Hernandez brothers? I can't remember.
He's
27.
PSG. He's 27, isn't he? Yeah. So
he's the French left back, isn't it?
Jesus, 25 million.
So you look at this, right? You look
I
at this
bet you he
again.
was offered a lot of money.
Yeah,
his wages.
sure.
So again, this is Inter Milan, by the way. So players like Francisco Conceição at 32 million euros, Nico Gonzalez 28 million euros, right? They're not spending loads of money, these clubs, but I bet you they're good. I bet you they're a good team. Sorry, Juventus. Sorry, not Inter Milan. Juventus, right? I bet they're a good team. I'll tell you what. Let's do this one. Let me show you this team. Atletico Madrid, right? Again, look at
There's
Atletico. I
a
know
bit
they're
of a
not in
Premier
Italy.
League tax, to be fair, Savva.
Yeah.
When Premier League
Sorry?
things come in for players, there is a bit of a Premier League tax that applies, but
Sure, but it goes to show there are players everywhere, right? There are players
100%.
everywhere, right? Like if you look at Atletico, now this is a massive club, right? Atletico Madrid are a massive, massive football club, right? Atletico Madrid, what's the most they've spent on a player this window? There you go, 42 million euros. What's that? 37 million quid. They've managed to get players like Buena for 42 million euros, Hanko 26 million euros, Thiago Almada, quality player, 21 million euros, right?
Oh boy, Cardozo, Jesus, 24 million.
Look at what they spend on players. Where are Spurs in any of these types of signings from across South America or Europe? Where are we? We're nowhere to be seen. It doesn't have to be that every player is 70 million, 60 million.
No,
My
go
point
do
has
your
never
scouting.
been scouting.
I mean, again, it comes back to that point where we sat here and went through 5 players that, personal opinion at the end of the day, you can never give a fact on it, but personal opinion, we could have picked up last year as a centre mid for round about 40 or less than 40 and maybe a little bit more or even a little bit less compared to the clubs they went to on bloody wages that would have got into that first team now. Our scouting is absolutely shocking. And again, it just sounds negative saying that, but we can go through a whole list of players that absolutely prove that as a fact. And then when you see certain other players go to places and you can definitely see, or you know of the player, that, yeah, they could come up a level, that could be good. We don't even seem to look at that and get the good deals out of it. Like I said, in Italy, most of the teams there, they haven't even spent bloody money. Overall, their record is higher. They've got more money in than they have out, and they've still managed to go out and buy some very good players. Obviously, some not as good as others because they're not. You look at the players we've got, we say we can't get rid of them. this is a chance where I think, as a businessman, as such, on a business side of it, you got to sit there and sometimes, like it or lump it, you got to cut your losses because it isn't going to get any better.
100%.
So you've now got to sit here and say, right, we've screwed up with A, B, C, D. I need to get as much in for these players as I can now. Otherwise, I'm just going to get nothing. Sometimes in business, you have got to cut your losses. No, if you were great, you wouldn't be in that position in the first place. But we're in that position. Right, time to cut the losses on some of the crap we have got and just get rid of it. Otherwise, we just won't get nothing. That's where you go out. And some contracts, as long as the player agrees to it, you cut it. And there's other players, you've got to force them out of the club, basically. If they don't want to leave, that's when you've got to try the stuff of like, right, then you're not getting picked for the squad. You're gonna go train on your own, not even with the youth and that. But if the player don't want to go, you still basically can't pull that off. But I think with the World Cup coming up, a lot of other things that players do want to play in that, you can force some of the players out. And I think some of the players we've got, like say Basuma, for example, if we wanted 15, 20 mil for him, and then you add on other players on there, do you know what? Add them all up and whatever. Just cut half the price that you actually feel they're worth. Get out of it, basically. Yeah. And people would say, well, that's bad business because you're losing money. Well, it's getting some money or getting no bloody money. We shouldn't even be in that business position, but we are. So sometimes you just can't
do this. Like Connor, aren't we rich enough that even without getting a 20 million here for Basuma and a 5 million there for Solomon and a 10 million for Hill, aren't we rich enough as a football club that we should still be able to go and conclude our business?
But every penny helps.
Easily. I mean, obviously
of
that
course,
money
I know, Dan. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, like, it's not certainly from a sort of PSR, UEFA rules, those types of things. We have absolutely no worry whatsoever. We've got so much headroom; it won't even ever come into consideration. And then you've got cash flow you need to think about, but there's always ways around that. You know, you can. We got huge amounts of, as I keep saying, we're an absolute beast. To give people in the chat a bit of a comparison, people will think of AC Milan as an example, as a huge football club. Our revenue is about 50-60% higher than theirs.
I'd say more
so
than
that gives,
unless they're in the Champions League.
Well, yeah, now and that's last, the year that's just gone.
Yeah.
For this year, the champion, it's going to be getting close to almost double, probably, right? So this just gives you a sense when people think, we've got issues competing with these types of clubs. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to get the players we want in. But as always, it's always a choice. I mean, the club has managed to find £125 million in cash in the last 3 years to spend on property. So.
It's also, we do spend the money. When you actually look at it, we just don't spend it correctly. And I think that is the one that really gets to people. Because if I remember right, I can't remember exactly, with something like in the past 5-6 years, we're, 4th or 5th highest, biggest spenders in the Premier League. I think it's 4th, if I remember right.
We're all there.
Since we had the stadium, it's 4th.
Yeah, we're the 4th biggest spenders in the Premier League. And if you look at what we buy, a majority of it is just crap. Especially the money we seem to spend on it. The biggest problem is we don't have that. We don't offer the wages, but we're still willing to overpay on a player that you should not be paying 65 million for, just so we can get him for the lesser wages, basically. Whereas there's probably better players out there you could have looked at who would have cost less, but then you got to put them up on the wages, basically.
I mean, sorry guys, I just brought this up again. Things like this make me angry. They really, really do. You've got a club that Klopp is now the director of football for the Leipzig, for the RB group or whatever it is. You've got a club like Leipzig who scout absolutely superbly, looking at an English talent at a good price that for me would absolutely suit everything we need. Things like this infuriate me. Look, so he said, Romano has said 2 minutes ago that Leipzig have started discussing contract terms with Elliott as a priority to replace Xavi Simons. Discussions ongoing, waiting to understand the player's decision. Guys, sorry, it just makes me so frustrated.
No, but to be fair, we know what he said about the club. It might just be a situation where he just didn't want to come anyway.
Sure, but the thing is, there's a lot of players out there where I'm sure. Are we saying that Harvey Elliott, who is not guaranteed first team football at all at Liverpool, they've now gone and signed Wirtz as well, another player in front of him. are we saying, he's from the London, Surrey area, whatever? Are we saying really that if Tottenham offered him, listen, we're a Champions League club, come down, play for us, you'll be in the first team? Are we saying that he'd have no interest in entering discussions with us at all? I mean, we're not that shit. Like as much as I don't think we can bring in the Vertzes and that, we're not big enough to turn the head of a Harvey Elliott to go toe to toe with RB Leipzig. I'm not.
We should be. Yeah,
we should be, but
I think we are.
I just don't think he likes the club. So
why? Why does he not like the club?
Well, all the things you said in the past, I think it's clearly obvious he's not a massive fan of Spurs. So
what you mean? So what he said about Harry Kane?
Well, listen. Look, he said some horrible things. Let's be honest. All I'm trying to say is maybe with just him specifically, he just didn't want to come to the club. That's all. So that's why I'm not overly upset about it. And I know you boys rating me personally. Nah.
Oh, he's not.
I feel like there's better out there. I don't know,
but hang on. But we're not signing the better players that are out.
I know we're not.
Okay. Does he walk into our team?
At the moment, yeah, he does.
I would say so.
He's not meh, is he? He's a very good footballer. He's not meh. Surely we, as Spurs fans, we can't look at this squad and think that Harvey Elliott is meh.
I prefer Eze and Gibbs White.
Yeah, but that's a no-brainer, yeah. But Harvey Elliott, I don't think he necessarily walks into the team. He'd have to do a little bit of a fight to get next to Paulinho. He'd have a bit of competition, let's put it that way. Whereas Paulinho just throws his shirt, he just walks in there, yeah? I think there's a little bit of difference to the extent of walking in the team. But Paulinho just totally walks into there with no competition. Elliott, I think he gets into the team. But there is that little bit of competition.
Who's Elliott's competition?
Bentancur would give him competition there. And
he doesn't play the same position as Bentancur. Does he? He's not. He doesn't play like.
How would you say Harvey Elliott plays then?
Harvey Elliott's more of an attacking midfielder.
Number 8,
isn't he?
Yeah.
Harvey Elliott's more of a foraging forward.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
From the right,
fair enough. He's a bit lost between an 8 and a 10, whereas
if anything,
more of a deeper 8. But yeah, I mean,
Bentancur's more of one who likes to dig deeper as a deep line playmaker, basically, in that. And yeah, do you know what? I'll go with that. Fair play. I'll step back on that one. But then you'd say his competition is what, possibly Bergvall or Sarr then yeah, he gets into that team. But I still think there'd be a bit of competition there for him. Whereas Paulinho, he just walks in there and he don't even have to look over his shoulder. But with what you've said, yeah, I agree. Elliott, I mean, the experience he's got over Bergvall looks good, don't get me wrong, but he needs to improve on his final third, basically, because when it comes to delivering that last ball or shooting, that's where he definitely needs to progress. He's rough and ragged around the edges. He's a rough diamond. He's a young kid. He needs to be brought up. But you can see Harvey Elliott has already got a lot more experience and done a lot more than him in the Premier League. And then I suppose it also depends on how you want to play in that game as well. If you need that engine, do you play Sarr instead of him or whatever? But then that gives us another solid option to play a certain way if we want to, with Paulinho sitting there. Because I think in midfield, whatever we do is going to be basically based around him.
I agree, but I can't believe that we're looking at our attacking midfield, wide options, forward options, and people don't think Harvey Elliott improves that. I'm truly baffled. Like when people,
people might come at it from the angle of opportunity cost, though, which is if you sign Elliott, you're not. That's not necessarily saying he's not better than what we've got. But we need to demand better.
We should be buying all of them, Connor. Like when you're saying Elliott don't get in our team over who? What do you mean over who? We've got not one attacking midfielder at the football club right now. We don't have an attacking midfielder. We do not have a technical attacking midfielder. We have got Bergvall, who's a number 8. We've got Sarr, who's a number 8. We've got Bentancur, who's a number 8. We've got Gray, who's a 6, and Paulinho, who's a 6. Then you've got loads of wingers and not one player who's technical and can play in the number 10 role. Maddison and Kulu being out for 3-4 months. Who are you playing there? And
if not longer, yeah.
This guy, this is the sort of signing. I'm telling you, Dan, this for me is like last year. You know, when we were talking about all the players that these fans like Ronnie did this all last year with players that we wanted. Mm-hmm. We do this every year as Spurs fans. We knock all these very, very good footballers that go to big clubs and good clubs. Like RB Leipzig don't really sign poor footballers, right?
No.
What they will do, RB Leipzig, they will bring Elliott in. He'll have 2 years there and he'll go to a Chelsea or something like that. I'm telling you.
They do a Brighton.
Right?
They got more money up front.
They buy technical footballers. They upskill them. They play well and then they move on, right? But this is like last year, Dan, when you and I were talking about Locatelli, when we were talking about Manu Kone. For years, Spurs fans, I wouldn't want Dybala. Where does he get it? We do this with everyone, and our squad is so lacking in quality. I just can't understand. This at all.
What Savva's basically talking about is, again, it goes back to that other one. Please, Ian, don't take offence, but me and Savva was going on about we've bought Archie Gray and Bergville. People are going off their head about it, like we've got an excellent player. But did either of us think they're ready for now? No. And we went through about 5 or 6 players that are either on the transfer list and known basically to be on it, or that have just been bought by other clubs that are more than established to play now, and for round about the same wages, and some of them even less money. And a lot of people said literally about every single player, bar maybe one here or there, that they're not good enough for us, but was totally bigging up Archie Gray and totally bigging up Bergville. Like, we don't need anyone else because we just got them two, for God's sake. When people were saying that they'd rather have Archie Gray or Bergville in their side than bloody Locatelli.
Oh, you've baffled me that you've said that some fans have said, hold
Ben,
on.
a lot of people sat on here with me and Savva and said that they would have had Archie Gray over Locatelli.
You're telling me anyone said, where would Dybala get in?
Ben, when you're on YouTube, you see crazy things like, look at all the people in my chat right now saying Kulu is miles better. I hate to break it to you people, but Kulu's out for ages. Madison's going to be out for ages. What don't our fans get?
Madison's going to be lucky if he sees it.
There's a chance Madison never comes back, to be fair. Look, he's 29 and it's another knee injury. It stinks of the Jamie Redknapp style situation.
Was it the same knee?
Yeah.
Was it the same knee?
No, sorry, Daniel.
It's the same knee apparently as well, yeah.
Stop whining about what other clubs are doing. Well, I'm whining because other clubs are doing while we're not doing, Daniel. Sorry,
accept it.
This is what I mean.
That's the other point.
I'm Daniel. I'm a super fan. You're not a super fan. I want my club to be right now. We should be going into the PSG game next week with a team sorted.
Okay, let me put this a different side to you then. Concentrate on your own team. Don't care about what the rest are doing and everything else. Concentrate on your own team fully. Right, then everybody shut up and don't bloody moan if Arsenal go and win the league.
This is what I mean. Right, I'll tell you what. So these fans, by the way, the people in the chat, I wouldn't want Elliot don't get in the team. Cool. If we don't sign a number 10, we don't sign someone there, don't complain. There's no creativity because you lot don't want anyone. I know we all want Eze. I know we all want Eze. Listen, if you said to me, Eze or Elliot, I want Eze. Of course I do. I'm not dumb, but I'm looking at the way the club operate, right? Connor, you said this just now. Look at the way we operate, right? For me, Elliot just made sense on so many levels. He's still young enough. If it doesn't work out, you can sell him on. He's only 22, but at the same time, he's very experienced. He can play in multiple positions, right? He's a winner. He's homegrown. He's from London, stroke Surrey, whatever, right? It just ticks boxes to me. But our fans would rather probably go and get an El Canoes because it's a sexier name when he's done half the things that Harvey Elliott's done in football. I just think the delusions of grandeur for fans is killing us.
You see what Connor said about Madison, yeah? Do you know what? That's a solid point you just said. No, I haven't actually looked at it that far as such. To me, for God's sake, another injury. But now I'm looking at what you just said. If we're going to be totally honest here about, forget he's a Spurs player, forget how many players do you not come back as a solid player from 2 back-to-back ACL injuries? Not many. Not many at all. I think we should actually be looking at that as a club then and saying, right, there's a very, very high percentage chance, I'd say more negative than positive, let's say random numbers, but I'd say there's 70% chance now with 2 ACL injuries that are going to keep, one kept him out for about 3.5 and the other one's going to keep him out now. He's done it again where he might not ever be able to do it because they're not going to rebuild his knee for him or nothing. I think we should already actually be looking at saying goodbye to him and getting a player in to take his place. Because
which is gutting because we all love Madison, right?
Exactly, and it's no disrespect to him, but what you just said there, that's just totally turned my head and made me look at it from a longer point of view of Don't worry, we're struggling scrape with Kudus in there or Kulusevski in there or whatever else, and Madders will get his shit together when he comes back. Is there a chance that Maddison ever comes back? Bentancur's never been the same player since that. Virgil van Dijk, after that injury, for the next season, maybe even season and a half, he was a shadow of the player of what he was. But he managed to come back to himself and be world class again. But that season after, he was nothing to the player he was. Maddison, who is quite a brittle person anyway, if we're going to be totally honest, and that's not an insult, just some people are built with stronger bones than others. This is his second back-to-back ACL. Maybe we should actually be looking at just saying goodbye to him and getting the next fella in there now, basically, and not hoping that Maddison will come back. Because with what you said there, looking on that from a longer prospect as such, there's a good chance you don't ever get Maddison back to the capability he had. That's two back-to-back ACL knee injuries. Or is that just being too negative?
No, I think I got called out in the chat because I said he was 29 when he's 28. Sorry. But I should do more research.
People...
He's 29 in 3 months' time.
Yeah, Connor, educate yourself, mate. Educate yourself.
I know, mate. I know.
If you
numbers
get
aren't
any
my forte,
little thing wrong, Connor, the chat will pounce on you. Like, do you know the other day I said, look, Harvey Elliott, he's a London boy. And then after the show, I've got Ellie messaging me going, oh, he's actually from Surrey. Like I give a shit. Like, I don't care. like the point was he's from the area, right? Like, I don't give a shit where Harvey Elliott grew up. That wasn't my point, right? Let me do some super chats. Just really, really quickly, by the way. I always hear this when people go, don't worry about what other clubs are doing. That's your competition. Of course you've got to be keeping up with the Joneses. That's like
Tesco saying Tesco's don't want to know what the price is in Aldi or Sainsbury's.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me do some super chats. Here we go. Daniel, you're coming again. So if by some miracle we do get Eze, Moani and Leao, what will you say? I will say, well done. We've acted like a proper club. Thank you very much. But Daniel, what I love about this what if game is I hear this every window. Every year when I'm live on YouTube and I do this, I get a Daniel Hewson in the chat doing this every window. What will you say if this happens? Well, what will you say when it doesn't happen? Right? What will you say? You won't. What you'll be doing is you'll be back here next year saying the same thing. Every window, right? Dan, got to remind, right? Look at the stick I got last year for predicting Spurs to finish 7th. Do you remember, Dan? Right?
Yeah.
And I'll show you, all right? This is what, again, I always show everyone this. I put this up last year and I said, I think Tottenham will finish 7th. This was for last season. Daniel will back me up on this. I got dogs abuse. You're negative. You're terrible. You don't think we're better than Chelsea. You don't think we're better than Villa. You don't think we're better than United. You're terrible. Right? I'm then the same person that when Tottenham are sitting in 17th, 16th, 15th most of the season, I'm getting, you overrate this squad, Savva. You think we should be doing... Hang on. You all told me that 7th was negative.
Savva...
I was on videos like the Irish Hotspur. Hang on, Dan. The Irish Hotspur. Love Dave. He put a compilation video at the beginning of the season with about 20 YouTubers, right, who all predicted where they finish. And I said, look, sorry, guys, can't see higher than 7th. But Dave puts out that video. Most of the YouTubers all go for 3rd or 4th, don't they? You know what I mean? Like most of them all go 3rd, 4th. And they're, oh, I love them. They're positive. Oh, Savva's a wanker. Savva's a prick. Savva's a cunt. Savva's this. Savva's this. Savva's this. Every year we get this. Every year we get a Daniel Hewson. Every single year I get this. Daniel, if you are right and Tottenham go and sign Leao, Eze and Moani in the next 3 weeks, I will sit back. Daniel, if we sign those 3 footballers, I will buy a Daniel Levy shirt from the official club shop and I will have it sitting there for the entire season. Leao, Eze, Moani. All 3.
You're not going to complain with that. I mean, Savva, last season, to go one step further than your one. I can't remember whether I said 7th or 8th. I said 7th or 8th, but I think he can win us a cup this year. And then the people that called me negative also called me deluded. When I sat there and said 7th or 8th, I can't remember exactly what one, but I seriously think he can get us a cup this year. The same people that called me negative also called me bloody deluded.
It's mad.
The same
Everyone was saying
people.
top four, weren't they, as well? There was loads of fans saying top four
Yeah.
before the season started last year.
Because we'd
and then
finished
they're the
fifth
same
the
people that
season
moan when we
before.
wanted Ange out.
Because we'd finished fifth the season before, but people couldn't realise, a lot of people didn't realise that we only did finish fifth because of those first 10 games. Okay, it's part of the season. First 10 games, we did finish fifth, yeah? But we was already well and truly on the decline. And me, along with a few other people, turned around and said, well, this season ain't going to be so great because you can already see this club is on the decline unless he adapts and changes things. He ain't going to have those first 10 games to cover his arse. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened. We basically did last season what we was doing towards the end of the season before. Yeah, with a win here and there, but then back to back, what was it, 5 games without a win twice, if I remember right, and losing 4 of those games as well. We was already well on the decline. It's just those first 10 games totally saved it the season before. This last season, he didn't get those first 10 games to save his arse, and it showed blatantly. But again, like I said, 7th or 8th, I said, and I got called negative. I said, I think he'll get us a cup, though, or can get us a cup. And I got called deluded at the same time by the same people that called me negative.
I just want people to be... I get it, right? It's the what-if fans are just the ones where I'm like, you know, the window's not shut. We've got big things going on. I'm telling you, I've got no doubt in the next week we see a bid go in for El Canoes. I've got no doubt in my mind we see a bid go in for El Canoes. Fans lose their mind, and then we start the copium. We start the trying to make
might
reasons.
be all right, yeah.
Yeah, start the reasons as to why. Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? He's a bit like Eze. Do you know what I mean? He's a bit like Eze. You know, we'll start getting all that. Let me do some super chats, and I'm going to wrap up the show in the next 5-10 minutes. Big up to Bourbon Buzzard. Thank you very much, my man. Just swooping in with a super sticker to start the super sticker train. Thank you very much, brother. Really appreciate that. Andy Lester, one of my members, said, big up, Savva. When's the members show happening? It will be Friday now. It will be Friday, definitely. It will be Friday. Tomorrow, we've got a really busy day. Got the show in the morning, followed by Bayern Munich, followed by the Spurs 5. So big day tomorrow. Big up to you, Andy. Appreciate that, my man. Big up to Marlon Blade. Said, box office said we must be ruthless and was mocked. No, Marlon. No. Mr. Box Office said that Thomas Frank, having been at the club for 2 weeks, should have sold loads of players already. And what we actually said was Thomas Frank's not the one that sells the players. He can give the suggestions as to who he's open to, but it's not Thomas Frank's job to be out there speaking to agents and clubs to sell the players. That's what other people do. That's what Mr. Box Office said. So no, Marlon, that's not true. You come back in and said, Dap said, Ball and Chain doesn't want Jack Grealish down south. Daps might have said, I don't know. I think if you're telling me that Jack Grealish gets offered to Tottenham over Everton, I'm sorry. I've got no doubt he's going to come to Tottenham Hotspur and play in the Champions League than go to Everton. Sorry. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Let's see what we do with the Jack Grealish situation. Big up, Marlon. Max has come in and said, Everton in for Grealish. Bet we swoop in now. Mate, I hope we swoop in now. I hope that's made us swing into gear and swooping in now. I'm just getting more embarrassed by the day. Big up to you, Max. Big up to Emma Morton. Thank you very much, Emma, who's putting a super sticker. Very generous of you indeed. Really appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. And Faz, big up to you, my man, said, should also worry about more injuries. Wake up, Spurs. Yeah, I think a lot of people in the chat are saying, don't worry, we've got Kulu and Maddison, 2 players that could be sidelined for a very long time. And to Connor's point, said about Maddison might not come back. Got to remember that Kulu's injury is quite a serious one. So we've seen that when Kulu comes back, he never comes back and hits the ground running. So what are we going to do? Get him back in the first game, go. You know, I think we've got to be very careful, but big up to you, my man. I completely agree with you. Guys, anything else that anyone would like to say before we wrap up? By the way, this guy has assured everyone that Eze is done. This guy has assured everyone for the last week in my chat that Eze is done, and we're just waiting for the Sun to move on officially, and then it's going to be announced. So it's a big week.
Johnny's
for you,
guy, is it?
Big week for J Love. Big week. He reckons it's done. We'll see. Anyone got anything to say before we wrap up?
just basically on what Connor said, I really hadn't looked on it that far. I knew we needed players up front more than back, I'd say. And when I kept hearing about we need new number 10, I'm like, that ain't that important in the aspect of we've got cover there for the mean. Yeah, the question is, do we ever get James Maddison back? I never looked at it that far. I sort of looked on it quite short-sighted, basically, on that one. And you just saying that has just totally made me think 100 things in that of, yeah, maybe number 10 is actually the main position we actually need, because there's a very high chance we never ever get Maddison back, in my opinion. Some will say that's negative, but some players never come back from an ACL, let alone 2 back-to-back ACLs in the same place.
At that age,
Mate,
as well.
You know what? Yeah. And okay, if he's 28, 29, well, yeah, there's a very high chance we never get him back. So this is where you've got to look further into the future, maybe as a business, as a club, whatever you want to call it, and think there's a very high chance that we don't get him back. Do we just basically try and replace him now? Or do we just sit back and hope? I never thought of it that far ahead, mate. So, yeah, that's actually pretty scary. I never thought of it like that.
Can I wrap up on a slightly more positive note?
Yeah, sure.
Don't shoot me down. Right?
Sure.
Be nice. I think one of the reasons why we're not going for a Jack Grealish, and this is a gut feeling, and usually when I get gut feeling, I'm right when it comes to Spurs.
Hang on, your gut feeling the other day was that Rodrigo's signing for Tottenham.
Listen, I'm telling you now, something big is coming. Right? You can laugh, you can mock, say what you want, but I have a gut feeling, and it might be Rodrigo. You never know. You don't know. Okay, you never listen. Van der Vaart would you'd have never penned Van der Vaart coming to Spurs. Right? You just wouldn't have. You don't know, Sav. You don't know. All I'm saying to you is this: I've got a gut feeling something big is coming, and we will end the transfer window with smiles. That's genuinely what I think. I feel like something's coming. That's all I wanted to say. So everyone relax. I know the transfer window is 3 weeks out from finishing. I'm telling you, things are going to start happening in the next 2 weeks, and we'll all be happy. I swear to God.
In the next 2 weeks, so Spurs are going to wait till the last week of the transfer.
Yes, because that's what we do as a club. That's what we do as a club. I'm telling you now. Look, we've done well to get Kudus. We've done well to get Paulinho. Yeah, you could argue some of it could have been done a bit quicker, whatever. We know what Spurs are like. I'm not expecting anything different, but I promise you something big is coming in the next couple of weeks. All right?
Can you just, by big, I mean, are we counting, like, if we signed Wissa, would you say that's big?
No.
Like, is Eze big?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to know, because what I don't want is Spurs to go and sign somebody on loan and then you go, I told you something big was happening.
I'll throw 3 names. I'll throw 3 names to you really, really quickly. All right. And again, everyone's got their own opinion. This is just mine.
Go on.
3 names. Eze, either Eze, Leao, or Rodrigo. Go ahead, Sav. Laugh. You're right, mate.
Look,
it's an opinion at the moment. It's an opinion at the moment.
It's just a gut feeling I've got, and that's it. Nothing more.
For me, listen, I think Rodrigo is, I think, an absolute pipe dream. Leao, I don't know why that shouldn't be achievable. Eze, again, we're going to Crystal Palace. It should be achievable. If you want Eze, go and make him feel like $1 million, right? But the fact we've not moved for him this window tells me, I don't know, there's just something that doesn't sit with me with the Eze move. It doesn't sit with me. Not that I don't want him. I'd love him.
The second season that everyone's been talking about, and it's also been on press that he's our main man, and we haven't gone for him. Don't ask me why.
He told us, right, that he only wants Arsenal. But then, there were all those stories about how his family were in the box over at Tottenham, and all of that crap we were fed. Paul O'Keefe thinks that Frank doesn't want him, but maybe that will change with Maddison. What we were just discussing about Maddison. To fans, it seems an absolute no-brainer to go for it. And to be honest, look, I'd rather we went for him and he rejected us and went Arsenal, because at least we could all sit as fans and go, at least we had a go. Do you know what I mean? We'll get banter from Arsenal fans or whatever else, but I'd rather feel like, this is my attitude always with Tottenham. I just want us to have a go, at least, and we can all come away and go, we're not guaranteed to win trophies. No one's got a divine right to win trophies, but at least we have the feeling that we've done everything that we can. And I don't think we can ever say that about Tottenham ever over the last 25 years.
Bang on, Connor. Do you know what? I think that I saw somebody say the other day, I can't remember who it was, on what channel it was, but they said, everyone's talking about what players do we bring in to win things. I think at the moment, it's what players do we bring in just to try and get anywhere near the top four. Like that, that we are so far behind Chelsea, Liverpool, City and Arsenal. It is comical. As it stands from last season, we are so far behind Villa and Newcastle. People can laugh, but last year, yes, it was an anomaly. As it stands, we are 30-odd points, 28, 30 points behind Villa and Newcastle. That's a 10-game swing. As it stands, Newcastle haven't lost anyone, as far as I can see. As it stands, have Newcastle lost any of their squad from last year?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh, that Swedish fella. What's his name? Left winger. That's no, I'm so sorry. That's the wrong.
They've signed Elanga.
They brought Elanga, so I'm thinking.
So right.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
At the moment, if you're looking at Newcastle, yeah, the Isak situation, but at the moment, Newcastle are not weaker, are they? On paper,
No.
They're stronger because they've got Elanga, right? If you look at Villa, have Villa lost anyone? As of yet, we can talk about Asensio, Rashford on loan.
Apparently they're back.
No one as yet. If Newcastle lose Isak, that is a massive body for them. But they haven't done it yet.
As it stands, Villa have gone and bought in Guessand as well. Now, we don't know. That could mean Watkins is going. It could be with Watkins. But as it stands, Villa and Newcastle haven't weakened from last season. As it stands, Tottenham haven't strengthened. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we've improved on the right wing and DM, but we're weaker in playmaker and left wing. So as it stands, these 6 clubs that all finished above us, I'm not going to talk about the Brentfords and the Fulhams and that, because that's where, to Ben's point, it was an anomaly. We should finish above them. Right? We are not stronger. See, again, like Josh, when you're saying we are stronger, then Kudus is our best attacker and probably our best midfielder. But Josh, we've lost Kulusevski and Maddison on long-term injuries, and Son's gone, who gave us goals and assists. So no, we're not. We're stronger on the right wing. We're weaker on the left wing. We're stronger at DM. We're weaker in playmaker. We're balanced. If I don't know, guys, I don't think I'm being negative.
No, I think that's absolutely
right.
Fair.
So Josh, surely you see that. Yes, we've got a better manager. Yes, agreed. That's the upgrade. Yes, that is where, to Ben's point earlier, I don't think we're going to finish 17th.
But that's why you're not comparing. You're only comparing to the top 6 right now. So you've already taken that into account, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you've noticed the Thomas Frank effect, I've knocked out the Palaces, the Fulhams, the Brentfords, the Bournemouths. I've knocked all of them out, right? I'm talking about if people like Josh don't listen to me, I've taken into account when people are saying, can we buy these players to win things? I'm talking about at the moment, can we catch up? Can we catch up with Villa, Newcastle? Then can we look at Chelsea, City, Arsenal, and Liverpool? Because at the moment, I don't see us level with those football clubs. Newcastle and Villa have got goal scorers. They've got
throwing away an opportunity as well, right? We're throwing away an opportunity here because to your point, although they haven't weakened Newcastle and Villa, they haven't strengthened particularly either. And so we've got this opportunity now with Champions League money and the money that we could spend to actually really close the gap on them, if not overtake them. And we're not taking it again. You know, the top 4 is obviously too far away now, and that needs to be done over a number of years with good coaching and consecutive good windows. We're not going to catch that without doing it for, a number of windows. But there's no reason why we couldn't significantly close the gap on Villa and Newcastle if we wanted to.
And that's my point. I love the way that when people say, big up, my man, big up. So Mikhail said, I don't remember the exact number, but we've lost 67 GA with Kulu, Madders and Son. So when people are going, we're stronger, I think we're stronger at the back. We're going to be so organised. We're stronger in DM. But football, honestly, as I said, people like Josh Wigan, there's context, critical thinking that goes into it. Yeah? You can't lose players, sign 2 to almost replace them in that aspect, if we will, and then go, we're stronger. At the moment, as I said, Newcastle haven't lost anyone at the moment, and they've added Elanga. Villa haven't lost anyone. They've added Guessand. so far Spurs haven't. Listen, I'll leave it there, guys. I just think we need, we need 3 starters, winger, striker, and absolutely, my man. Big up. Guys, thank you very much. It's been a very long show this morning, but I think there's a lot that people want to get off their chests. There's a lot people want to talk about. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send you all over to Ben at the Cow Feed Company. Please, when you go over there, type in Savva Raid. Please smash the subscribe. It's very easy to do for people. We've had nearly 800 in here the whole show and only 12 new subscribers. Please do subscribe if you get the chance. Please subscribe to the Hotspur Hood as well. And please follow on X, Top Doc, Benji, and Connor at Levynomics 1882. I'll be back tomorrow for morning show, followed by Tottenham versus Bayern Munich live watch along, followed by the Spurs 5. Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.